Oh, so long. Oh, as soon as I start talking, my mouth is dry. I need to go get some tea. Uh, okay, well, I'll give you a second to join or something. Anyway, hello, Crime Stoppers. It's been quite some time since I made a video, but it's not because I've been sitting on my hands. I've been busy. All right, gotta get some. Oh no! Who knows? Okay, water it is. Ah, I thought I had tea. I do not have tea. Let's see. Oh dear. There we go. All right, so this is going to be a video. Oh, and I gotta check my sound. Do I not have to check my sound? I have to check my sound because they always turn me down. And look, it's 11111. It's 111 when I begin making this, where I am here in Phoenix. Oh, there is so much to talk about. I should have done this beforehand. But see, I'm at the point where it's like, just get started or you're never going to get started. Is how this works lately. Okay, and then here, we got to go check the sound because they always turn down my sound, these guys, because I don't do it. All right, so system preferences, sound. Alrighty then. Oh dear. Just delicious, delicious, regular old no water, no tea, no nothing, just regular water. Okay, it is uh, warm here in Phoenix. Yesterday was 118. I went for a walk, and the school has the billboard with the time and the oddly enough the weather, and because it says sunny or it'll say cloudy or it'll say raining in case you didn't know because you're outside looking at their sign, and then it also has the temperature and it was 118. That is like walking around in a sauna. So I didn't have a shirt on and I was just walking around sweating. Yes, that's the point. That's the whole thing. You want to freaking detox. That's one way to do it. Okay, so there is so much to talk about, and it's been a long time. So, what have I been doing? What I've been doing is learning the good news. Oh my God, 57 years a slave. I'm going to cover this like one time. We're going to go through it fast, and then there's going to be a lot. There's got to be a lot more. You can get everything for free from a guy named Mansa Manantha. I will put a link someplace to his page. They don't want you hearing from him. They don't want you hearing from me. Uh, I have to say it out loud. I'm sorry. There is pre-accident Mansa, and then there's post-accident Mansa. You want the pre-accident Mansa stuff, and you'll have to dig for that. All right. This also, I make these videos because my sons watch them and they want to hear stories about how it used to be. Okay, so when I wear a shirt like this, uh, anybody that knows me from Hawaii, I only wear this shirt on special occasion. I have had this shirt since I was 17 years old. Used to be really big for me. But anyway, yes, this shirt is 45 years old. My mother purchased this shirt for me because we were doing aloha wear and we needed Seaberry colors and we were putting on baccalaureate. Okay, because it was tradition, it still is at that school that the juniors put on baccalaureate for the seniors. In other words, we prepare their senior meal, we prepare anyway, there's a whole ceremony that goes along before graduation and you get your diploma and stuff like that. Okay. And the juniors are responsible for putting that on. Okay. So Ever since then, I've worn this to weddings and funerals. Um, I was wearing this when I was the officiant at my mother's funeral. Uh, I was wearing this at my grandmother's funeral. I was wearing this shirt at, well, we'll just use the first name, Kaui's wedding. Randy Cummings. I was wearing this shirt at his wedding. Uh, Weddings and funerals. Okay, many moons have gone by since I first got this shirt. Maui is not like how it was when when I grew up there. When I first put this shirt on, Maui was a completely different place than it is now. And now I'm not even on Maui. Oddly enough, I didn't really expect that I'd ever leave. But then again, there was something that told me that I wasn't gonna finish things out on Maui. Okay, I have good news. So where am I gonna start? And see, actually, I should tell some old school stories. And I was telling my girlfriend old school stories about this shirt. I was at a wedding, it was Kui's wedding, and I told the story about the three impossible things because we were in fact waiting for the bride. And I was the MC. I was not doing. I was not the guy that pronounced them man and wife. I was just MC. Anyway, the three impossible things. This is a 6,000 year, as far as we can tell. This is a 6,000-year-old sutra. 6,000 years, and it goes something like this. So there's Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma. So Brahma is not in this story, but Vishnu is thinking that if he's the preserver and Shiva keeps destroying stuff, so if he just could shoot or get rid of Shiva, um, everything would be peachy keen, and his job would be so much easier as the preserver. And then the creator would make stuff, and he would preserve stuff, and Shiva would stop destroying stuff, and then creation would be, in Vishnu's opinion, more awesome. Okay, the answer no. So anyway, he caught what he thought he had done is caught Shiva unawares. And there's a great story, like if you see the puppets and stuff, there's a great story where he's got like his bow and arrow like right next to the guy's head. And then he shoots it. And Shiva catches the arrow in his teeth. You know, when you see, he turns around and he didn't get shot in the head. He caught the arrow in his teeth. He looks at Vishnu. He hands it back to him and says, I will destroy you too, unless you can tell me three impossible things. So Vishnu thinks for a bit and he goes, well, one of the impossible things is a sword that cannot be turned on its master. Shiva says, yeah, that's definitely one of the impossible things. Okay. Um, three. You have three impossible things. That's one impossible thing. It's telling me two more impossible things, or I will destroy you. And he thinks a little more and he says, I know, gold, it does not make a man greedy. Shiva thinks, that's definitely one of the impossible things. So, a sword that cannot be turned on its master, and gold that does not make a man greedy. These are two impossible things. Tell me the third impossible thing, or I will destroy you. Thanks. And you got to draw it out. And remember, I'm at a wedding party, and there are, I don't know, 200 people in the room. Anyway, maybe more. And, and then he thinks and comes up, and finally he says, all right, I got it. The third impossible thing. A woman you don't have to wait for. And the crowd had a mixed reaction on that one. I specifically remember that one was a mixed reaction. That was not a universal chuckle or laughter. And I remember one of my sons said, "You told that at a wedding?" Yes, I did. Anyway, okay, so I have good news. Here's the good news. Let's get right to it. See, well, actually, we're not getting right to it. I've been going for a little while because I wanted to either A, have people come, or B, weed out the stragglers. People that'll watch this and just see the beginning and then get bored and they don't even make it this far because they tune out. So good. You see this right here? See this right here? This right here is the creditor's manual. If you are a minor, this is a literal story of things that happened a long time ago. And you may be waiting around for some dude. And you may believe that somehow you could nail the cross, nail the Christ to a cross. And I'm here to tell you that that was not possible. All right, this is the creditor's manual. It enslaves some and sets free others. In here, it tells you that Jesus is your redemption, paid all your debts, died for your sins, was crucified between two thieves. But it also tells you you are a little creator, your own self, and you can create as many fictional juristic entities as you desire. Corporations, we call them, LLCs. They need EINs. But this is the creditor's manual right here. It tells you what to do if you know how to read it. If you read it like it's a literal translation, you are a minor and they're going to treat you like a minor. So I have good news. You are the creditor. You are the principal. Okay. You got to learn how to read. And then you got to learn how to sign your name. And then you got to understand a few things. See this right here? This is a stack of cards. Well, ooh, let's turn them this way. It's the old school cards that it's printed on one side and the other side just has no. All right, so see, look at all these cards. Ooh, look how pretty. Oh, so pretty. I like this one. So perfect. I like. And then what? Oh, I kind of like this one too. And this one you like them because no more international fees. Okay, so cause every time you sign your name on an application, you're marrying one of these companies. You should let the CFO know that you're getting married, and you're going to send them some advice. You always give people that are getting married advice, and you're gonna let him know that he's a fiduciary and that you are giving them your security interest, but you're not giving them the majority security interest. You're just giving them security interest so that they can go to the Fed window and borrow on your behalf. Okay, we're going to make this story so simple you can understand it because it's people try to overthink and overcomplicate this thing. You are acting like heathens. You're acting like you're not gentlemen. You're acting like you're sullied slaves, covered in sin. You're filthy and dirty, little children. And the Jesus will give you. Okay, do you really think it was bread? Have you ever earned bread? Have you ever heard anybody in a movie say, "Hey, you got any bread, man?" Does he hand them bread? No, he hands them notes. Hands them promissory notes. Okay, I'm going to give away a secret right here. And I'm going to tell you in advance. But see, I haven't sworn no oaths. But see, part of the thing with them is that you're supposed to know what's missing. If you don't know what's missing, that means you don't know. I didn't know. I never know. Ma, I never know. Okay, so what's missing when you say note is promissory note. There's only two things. And Brandon Joe Williams figured this out, and so did well, Monza for sure. But I was thinking about Patrick Devine was the name that was I was having a hard time recalling. But anyway, Patrick Devine figured this out too. There are orders and there are promises. That's it. You made me promises, promises. And they tell you about it in songs and they laugh because the children, no matter we sing to them, we put it in writing, they still don't understand. But they say they understand. So it makes it that much easier to enslave them because they won't admit they're slaves. That's their first step. You got to admit you're paying property tax. You're paying tax on property. Why don't you go look up and see if free men pay tax on their property? I know people in Fiji, 500 something acres, never 30 years, more than 30 years now, never paid a dime in property tax because they own it. It's theirs. Who's going to tax their property? Oh, slaves. If that was a slave in the United States. It's a whole other thing. Anyway, and people have finally figured that part out too. And damn it, Ron Gibson died before I could go meet him. But anyway, the idea is that you gotta act. You got enough to act, cause the reason. Okay, and then I'm taking a bunch of contract courses. See, this is a beautiful thing, right? They hate this thing right here. I am going to college at a pretty prestigious university. I'm paying not a fucking dime because all I'm doing is watching this professor's contracts course. He's a famous professor. He's a law guy. And yeah, and he swears a little bit also once in a while. And he apologizes for it, but fuck it. There's times, yeah, this stuff, right? Okay. And it's clear he's a Mason. And it's clear that he's telling these will be soon to be lawyers, attorneys, a thing or two about contracts that you might not get normally. And if you read some of the comments underneath, it's like, yeah, he fucking explains it like straight up. Okay. One of the things he lets go and makes it okay. You gotta know some signs. You got to know a little bit about signs. You got to know some signs. If you don't know your signs, you're going to have a hard time. So if you don't know your signs, you might miss a thing or two when you're watching these guys' videos. But anyway, and also this professor. Okay, so one of the things that he made it sound like he was just glossing over it. Get to the point. I know. The point is, formality is everything. Formality is everything. Okay, they want you to perform. You must do a performance. When you do your performance, it shows you know your shit, and you might be able to sing and dance your way through the gate. Okay, there is no gate, and you're not going to sing and dance. But that's how you read the Bible. Well, it's the Son. It's the Son of Man. Oh, he got crucified, and then on the third day he rose. It has nothing to do with rescissions or anything. He died for our sins. He paid all of it, yes. And he told you how. And he even told you, what the hell was that? John, it was in John 12 something, maybe it was 14 something, I don't remember. But anyway, everything I did, you can do and more is basically what the point. That's me paraphrasing. That's not what he said. But basically said, look, everything I can do, everything I can do, you can do it and more. Once I give you this information, you are correct. You will be born again. You will be saved. But if you're reading this Bible like a baby brain dork that thinks that this is a literal translation and that somehow you can nail the Christ, do you accept the Christ? Okay, how are you going to nail that thing that you accept to a cross? You baby brained idiots. Oh, no, it wasn't the Christ. It was Jesus in the form of the Christ. Okay, no, Jesus told you. Okay. There are numerous ways to cipher this. In fact, you can go see Santos Bonacci and he will give you the astrological cipher to the last fucking detail and go through the Bible, and he's biblically trained. See, and here's the thing. I also went to Bible school as a child. I was raised as a Christian. We studied the Bible, and it was Baptists more so. So, but see, this Baptists, they read the Bible. They read the Bible. They had all these things concordance where you could spend 1 year And in 365 days, you will have read the whole Bible. So you can't say that you didn't read the Bible because these guys were, you read the fucking thing. You don't just say I'm a Christian and you never fucking open the thing up and you don't know the difference in the Old Testament and the New Testament. You don't know who fucking Hosea was. You have no idea who Isaiah was. You Daniel, what was there really a den of lions or was that a metaphor? Are you really gonna go slither out there like a fucking snake and be gentle as a dove, or are those metaphors? Confound it. All right. So, as a gentleman, a non-slave, as a sovereign over your tribe, and your tribe is probably has to be four, but technically it's one. It's you. You're sovereign over yourself, and maybe your family unit, and that's it. Okay, and that's because our buddies who founded this thing were all about freedom of religion, and you're thinking they're practicing the Christian religion and the baby Jesus and stuff. And I assure you, that is not the case. All right. So the idea is that if you get married 6 times, you got to send out 6 point. You got to get the IRS involved because you're going to start engaging in commerce and tapping your credit. Okay, and then they're going to try and make you think that your consideration is them going to the Fed window and borrowing the money for you. They keep the money and then you pay them back the money that they borrowed for you. They don't give you the money. Oh, yes, they do. They send you a bill. Bill is short for bill of exchange. And what you're supposed to do is turn that bill of exchange into a check. I have actually even fallen behind in my reading of this thing because I have spent so damn much time reading the Bills of Exchange Act and then conversations on the bill and all about the bills of exchange. And my buddies who are dead now had them in my studio back when I was a DJ in a time far away in a land gone. The town has burned to the ground. It doesn't exist there anymore. I wore this at many occasions in Lahaina. I was wearing this shirt at Ken Gershner's father's funeral. And then we got drunk as fucking skunks in Moose McGillicuddy's on Front Street. Could hardly fucking make it down the stairs. And like, how the fuck are we gonna drive home? We all live on the other side of the mountain across the Pali. So we figured, yeah, we can't make it at least as far as Canoe Beach. It's mostly on a straight run. And we went to Canoe Beach. This is after we had spread this guy's father's ashes. Okay, and I tell you this story too. Okay, wait. Finish the other story. So then we went to Canoe Beach and we go swim until we sobered up and then we all made it home safe. Obviously, I'm here telling the story. But we were fucking so drunk, could hardly make it. Long Island iced teas back in the day when a Long Island iced tea was Long Island iced tea. Had no fucking soft nothing inside it. It was all liquor and they mix them up with taste and it tastes like a Long Island iced tea. But there was no soda, there was no Coca-Cola, there was no fucking tea in that tea. It was all liquor when back in that day. They don't make them like that anymore because it does. It fucks you. One of them will fuck you up. I think I had 7. Okay, Fritz, when he was Mache. Okay, first he had. Okay, this guy had asthma, bad asthma, and then he worked around. He did Maui countertops for the longest time, and formaldehyde and chemicals was his thing. They used to shoot glue, and I mean that place smelled of chemical. And he had asthma on top of everything else. And one time he was in a tub and he had an asthma attack and he couldn't breathe and he died. But his son and wife called the paramedics and they brought him back to life. And the first thing out of his fucking mouth, apparently I was not there, but I heard this story directly from him while sitting in a hot tub. Fucking Fritz, why'd you fucking bring me back? It's better over there. I will repeat this story numerous times because in 62 years, I have heard this from more than one person who came back to life, as it were. And every damn one of them says the same. It's better over there. Right? And they were, of course, his wife and son were right? Because we want you over here. I don't want to be here. I can't breathe. I can barely work. Right? Those asthma attacks suck, apparently. I've never had one. You know, it's like you just like he says like you first you're breathing through a snorkel and then it just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And if it doesn't open back up again, you die apparently. And he did. Anyway, they brought him back to life with something, and he was pissed for days after that. I went drinking with him after that. Well, we didn't go drinking. We had drinks in a hot tub after that. And he was just like, "Don't bring me back next time." Long and that man that was one of the best, not one of the best. That was I don't know because I know some fucking crackerjack carpenters, but this guy was a cabinet maker extraordinaire. He could do shit with wood. I mean, fucking a. I don't. I wouldn't even. I can do shit with wood, but I can't do anything like I can do stuff with the finishes. But he could do the finishes, and he could do all the make it lattice work out of wood. I mean, he could bend and shape, and oh man, he could do insane stuff with wood, and then inlay glass. I was hoping that he would build my cabinets one day, but I never built a house, and he died. Anyhow, I was wearing this shirt when he died. Oh, excuse me, at his. That makes it sound like when he died, I was actually wearing the shirt. No, I was wearing the shirt at his wake and ashes scattering. And he lived and died not knowing that all of his accounts were paid. He knew the story. He heard this story, and his son heard this story. And you know what? I wore this shirt to fucking Ken's. His son, also mocking now, my age, overdosed on opioids, one too many painkillers, took him out. He also lived and died. And we did it in a Baptist church. Pukalani Baptist used to be the church. Anyway, is where the thing is. And we went up and spoke, and everybody had words to say. And it was kind of, see, because that guy used to be one of my best friends when we were in high school. We were three of us were known for being. If you knew where one of us was, you knew where the other two were. If you saw one of us, we knew where the other two were. Or and this is back before cell phones, right? Or you just didn't see because we were pretty much the three of us always together. All right, so I had to go to his fucking funeral. Um, and he had found Jesus. He had understood that he had a shot at redemption. He understood that his sins were paid, and that with the water of life you will wash away the sins. Okay, so what that's basically saying is you're the creditor. Okay, so the creditor and a gentleman will give notice when you enter into a contract. Hey, I'm going to enter into this contract. Here's my Form 56. We're letting the IRS know there's probably going to be some taxable events here. I'm exempt, but we got to keep track of everything. And you get a fee for offering me this credit card and so on, which is the interest. And see, now you got to go read. You got to go read the Bill of Exchange Act. I got carried away on that one. And then you got to go read the. But once you read that, oh fucking A, fucking A. Okay, they consider you a minor. Simple as that. Your last at sea, you're a minor. You didn't give notice. You didn't tell anybody anything. By the time in 7 years, you were supposed to. It's not a joke. It's reflected in the code. And fucking Claude and ChatGPT, if you don't bust it, will break. Will what do you call? Will lie to you. They lied. Claude was trying to tell me there's no such thing as a 5-star passport. That was amusing. And then it was trying to tell me that it's always, anytime I look anything up, it always warns me, this is going to be some sovereign citizen shit. You got to watch out. There's going to be sovereign citizen stuff. You're looking up stuff that the sovereign citizens look up. And you want me to translate stuff that sovereign citizens. No, they don't. They don't ask you to translate. I asked it to translate directly from the Latin. I don't want translations. I want word for word. I want to know what each word means. It's like, that's 3,500 words. Brad, that's like not even 15 pages. I used to write 20-page term papers. Shut the fuck up, Claude. Do what I tell you to do. Well, I gave you the translations that are right now. I don't want translations that are accepted. I want each word translated from the Latin that it's written into in the Magna Carta, in the big document, to the English equivalent word. And if it's several words that turn into a phrase, then you note the fact that that's a phrase. and the direct translation word for word. Oh, brah. Why Claude gotta give me a hard time? All I like to do is find out what it says for my fucking self, not what somebody else tells me what it says. Okay, but bottom line, that Sesticate Tract Act of 1666, a few other things. Read the fucking documents for yourself. Just read, niggas. Read, niggas. Go read the Federal Reserve Act. Go read. Oh, wait. I have written shit down. And then I'm going to give you some process. Oh, dear. Here's some of it. Because I've been over here taking notes like a motherfucker. And reading. And when you get done being mad, and who are you gonna be mad at? You're gonna be mad at yourself mostly. But no, it was fraud. It's fraud from the very beginning. All right, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Read that. Truth in Lending. Read that. Bill of Exchanges Act. That. Oh my God. That doesn't open your eyes. From time out of mind. That's how I got sidetracked at the radio station down on Front Street in Lyon. I see many memories there. Because who used to be in my Walter Becker? I don't think Donald Fagen ever showed up ever. I mean, I partied with him a few times, but he didn't actually come down to the studio. Roger Nichols came down to the studio, which is the engineer that built the equipment that made the sounds that were in Walter. And anyway, he made the sounds in their heads come out through a speaker. Is the way it was explained to me. Anyway, Roger was quite the guy. And I have many, many stories because technically I was his boss because I was the operations manager and I hired him to be our station's engineer, which means, and that just means he fixed shit. Because he was good at electronics and he could keep the transmitter running and all. Anyway, he could, if it had electricity going through it, he knew how to fuck with it. Anyway, and he's dead. Walter Becker's dead, and Donald's dead. Donald and Walter, they're all dead. Everybody's dead. Steely Dan's dead. Steely Dan tried to tell me some of this shit. Time out of mind. Time out. They've been doing bills of exchanges from time out of. They've been doing bills of exchanges for so long they don't remember when they started doing bills of exchanges. And they've done all kind of research on when they started doing bills. They've been doing them for fucking ever. Okay, when everything changes and everything's about to change, this is another thing, folks. Things are about to change. You better get yourself some knowledge, and you better get yourself some gold and silver in your hands. Hide it in the ground. I don't care. Get it someplace. But things are about to change. But even when things change, there is still going to be bills of exchange. And there are still going to be promissory notes. Because the way we do commerce is with orders and promises. Bro, nobody watching. How are you guys making comments? Well, great to see you too. Share this video. This video is one of the ones you want to share. I'm going to try and keep it clean, but you know me, I can't do it. And see, you're not going to get templates from me, but I'm going to direct your discovery. See, because this is what I do. I teach math, and I don't teach math like regular people teach math. I teach math with directed discovery. I direct your discovery. Okay, now if you can do this, this, and this, you can do this, this, and this. Go down this path. There's a door down there. You should go through it. Okay. Now here's the thing. There's a door, there's a gate down there. You want to go through that gate, but there are many pitfalls, traps, and there are guardians at the gate saying, no, you don't get to go through this gate unless you can perform. And you should give us some notice that you were coming and you might get a better reception. But you don't, because we're troglodytes. We've been enslaved. We went to slave school. They taught us how to be good slaves. They didn't teach us how to be good sovereigns. And then these motherfuckers think that they are worthy of being masters. And I disagree entirely, because if they were worthy of being masters, this would be a fucking fairy paradise. Not this bullshit we have now. People shitting in the streets in San Francisco. And not just San Francisco, but you get the point. Okay, you fuckers can't govern for shit. Okay, so anyway, the idea is, You got to educate yourself because these fuckers can't govern. So govern yourself accordingly. You need to read the USC. It's 15 USC, many secrets there. 5 USC, much stuff there. And see, it's not secrets. It's fucking written in the goddamn code, and we don't read it because there's so much code. Well, then maybe you should learn photo reading. $1,000 photo read. My son's photo read, I photo read. It makes a fucking difference. And yes, it will help you open to the correct page. 12 USC at 1431. That's probably something you want to write down and go read it, damn it. And then understand why I'm telling you that. Okay. Let's back the fuck up. It's Sunday. First day of the week. I'm about to go sun gaze. I've been sun gaze since you have not seen me. There has pretty much not been a day because I'm in Phoenix that I haven't sun gazed for at least an hour. Am I fucking blind? I am not blind. For more than 44 minutes at a time. On a daily basis. Every fucking day because I am in Phoenix and you can do it every day. It's sunny pretty much every day. Like if it's cloudy, that's an odd day here. The normal weather is not a fuck like today, not a fucking cloud in the sky in 360. I can go stand on the roof and look in all directions. There are no clouds. And then there are other days when there's clouds way over there. There might be a cloud way over, but overall it's just blue sky and maybe a wisp of cloud goes by unless they're chemtrailing. Okay, so this is sun gazing central cause you guys join the Methodist Church, which it's going to be a church and it has been founded and it has minutes and that shit's private. We're going to bring some of public so that you know that we're not joking. I have witnesses. And what we did on the 5/22/25 is when that church was founded. Okay, but you can't just join a church. You can't just, you give me $1,300 and I will give you all the information that I'm going through here at rapid pace. Because guess what? In 3 hours, so this is probably going to be a 3-hour video, maybe 2-hour video, whatever. I can't cover it all. It's like a high school. You got to go through high school. You got to teach it. It takes years to go through some of this stuff, just as the amount of time it takes to fucking read it all. Okay, I have the luxury of time. And I got 24/7, and it took me like a week and a half just to get through Bills of Exchange. I mean, I say not even true. That's probably 3 weeks to get through Bills of Exchange. And I mean, studying and using AI, which would not have been available to me back in the day. But I mean, fucking A. Okay, and that's just Bills of Exchange. Okay, now we got to fuck around with promissory notes, and then we got to fuck around with letters of credit. And anyway, there's so much. And then we haven't started talking about trusts. And then I was figuring out how to found a religion, for fuck's sakes. It's a whole other thing. It's pretty easy to do, actually. I'm not. Crouton Ramon is an ordained minister. And see, you got to understand, I am not, and see, how fucking dare you call me a U.S. citizen? I am not a U.S. citizen. You can't be a U.S. citizen except by application. You have to apply. You cannot tell me that I'm a U.S. citizen. And when I went and asked, and I have documents, and I've showed them to you before, they have no record. Yeah, because I'm not. I was born state citizen. What's that? Not state national. Brandon Joe Williams trying to say that such thing as a state national. Okay, fine. If you define it in your documents, yes, there fucking is. May not be in their definitions, but if it's in yours, what do you mean when you say state citizen? What do you mean when you say state national? And Bad Wolf just found a citation in law where they talk about state citizen. People born in the state. You are not automatically a U.S. citizen. You have to fucking sign something. Somebody had to sign something someplace. And that somebody was your mom who didn't understand the contract. So the contract is void. And it was signed for me. I couldn't even wipe my own ass at the time. And therefore, it's a voidable contract because you cannot contract with a minor. And I did not void the contracts until just recently. You're correct. But it was fraud all the way through because you actively tried to make it seem like I didn't need to void the contracts, or that when you close the accounts closed. They did not close. You continue trading on that, you fucking pirates. So what you have to do, go watch The Count of Monte Cristo, or at least go read the book. Probably should read the book and then go watch the movie. My son said, "The guy, the fucking movie's boring." You're right, because the old movies stuff didn't blow up and explode. There was actually dialogue, and they built up characters, and you're supposed to pay attention to the scenery and background and so forth. But anyway, the Count of Monte Cristo tells you, yeah, you go back there and tell him, hey, you know what? I am the ultimate. Me personally, I'm the prodigal son for sure. I am the ultimate prodigal son. Okay, but the Count of Monte Cristo comes back. You gotta go and reclaim your shit. And they don't want to give it back to you, as it turns out. Of course, they don't want to give it back to you. It's fucking millions, and in my case, billions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. I was on the GMI utility when I was in Hawaii, in Hawaiian Homes at Tom Kikona's house, going through the GMI utility. I took his social security number. I took a few other people, and we went through. And I just looked up a couple things for them, just show them that the thing actually existed. And then my girlfriend took the ball and ran with it and looked at all her shit. And she didn't do enough screenshots. I took the ball and ran with it. And I mean, brah, it's millions and millions. I quit counting it was hundreds of millions of dollars when I stopped counting. And I was not even like 5% of the way through. Like, I mean, it was this huge file of everything that had to do with that. Because here's the thing, you got to put your number in the right way, right? Because what the dash is, XXX, right? Dash XX dash XXXX, as opposed to X dash XXXXXXXX, right? 9, it's always 9. As opposed to XX dash XXXXX, right? 7 more. Like, those are 3 different numbers. 2 different accesses to accounts. But anyway, the idea is, and then there's the one with just no dashes, straight up number, straight 9 of them, XXXXX 9 times, whatever your number is. Okay, that is not your account. There is no one account that's got your name on it. It's a well, it's a pool, it's a trust account, it's a public charitable trust, and you have access to it. It's part of your rights. You have a right to the credit of that account. Okay, because see what? Now you got to go back and you got to go read. Promissory and Banking Act and the Emergency Banking Act, and then you got to read the Securities and Exchange Act, right? 1933 and 1934, because that's when they stole all the fucking money. Because people, there is no fucking money. There isn't any fucking money. There are promises and there are orders. And I have in the past made promises that I did not intend to keep, and they still cleared my account. Okay, bad karma for me. So now I'm not going to do that. I'm going to apologize. And I'm going to ask for forgiveness, actually. Forgive our debtors as we forgive those, right? Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Also forgive us our debts as we forgive those, right, our debtors. All right. And from this day forward, we're going to have a new account. New things are going to change. Mistakes have been made in the past on both sides. Some of that is incompetence. Some of that was intentional piracy. But as a Christian, I'm going to let it go, and we're going to start fresh. But I'm going to have justice be done, and I am going to claim some of these accounts, which by law you were supposed to be holding in escrow for me should I ever come back. And you're right, it's been quite a while, because I should have claimed it within the first 7 years. And see, my sons are making their claims before the age of 25. And even if they're denied, they can still show that they attempted to make the claim. But once they figure it out, anyway, they're going to figure it out, because I'm going to tell them the information that you are going to get for $1,300. Go to my website. As an added bonus, you get a math course. But I am not, that's a stiff barrier to entry. I am not going to hold your hand. I'm not going to give you templates, but I will give you the shit you need to read, and I will tell you the processes you need to go through. And actually, I'm going to do it right now. Here's the first thing. When you go get a document notarized, the notary needs to be notarized. And I should have had one handy. Maybe I'll make another video. I have just fuck. I had that letter so many. Anyway, I even had that letter when I was being held against my will. But it was a letter that basically showed that the person that notarized the letter was officially a notary, and so the notary had to notarize. Okay, because see, they'll kick back your documents and not tell you why they're kicking back your documents. They just kick them back to you. Okay, so this is one of the things they kick back for. All right, so you need, if you get your documents notarized, and you're going to send it to go get authenticated. Okay, and you're not going to do your birth certificate. It's oh well, maybe you are, but if you're not going to go get it apostilled, you're going to get it authenticated. But in my case, why I got to authenticate a document that's already got 2 seals on it, and they're raised seals. You can fill them. Okay, the thing's authentic. It's the real thing. I was born in Illinois. You can't dispute the fact. Okay, and I can prove that I'm alive and that I'm the holder in due course of that certificate. Right. Okay, and then you'll see, like, okay, that certificate later on, the name that they created as sole proprietorship, so I could do commerce. They didn't explain any of this to me, and they gave it a number so that it could do stuff in commerce, and so that it would have a stake, a claim on that public trust account. And the card tells you that this is not your card. This is property of the Social Security Administration, and if we ask for it back, you got to give it back, and you got to quit using the number. Okay, they hardly ever do that unless you totally abuse the number. Now, and you can abuse the number. You can do a lot of stupid shit with 1099s and other forms that you don't fucking understand that have in red on the goddamn form that says if you fuck up on this form, there's penalties involved. So you better know what the fuck you're doing. Okay, you know what OID, original issue discount. Yeah, you get a discount because you're the original. It's all paid for because they stole all the money in 1933. And if you mention HGR 192 in your documents, you are going to get special treatment, and they're going to try and see if they can trick you into going to jail. Just letting you know. And the spirit of it is true. You should read HGR 192. The fact that there is no fucking money, but that's not where it is. Where it's at is 8 USC 18. That should be jumping out at me on one of these documents, but it's not. Let's see here. See, and I just have numbers here. 26 USC 508. Probably want to take a look at that. 501c3 as opposed to the 508 C1A. And there's 18 USC 1401. What's that about? And then there's 26 USC. It's 6331. That should tell you something. 6334. But that's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is none of these. Because what there is the, and I've read them to you before. Yeah, and really, I didn't write it down in here? Okay, when I find it, I'll write it down in here again. Do you know which one I'm talking about? Wherein it's explained quite clearly the obligations of the United States. I will find it if I wrote it down. And 12 USC 1431. That's one you got to know. And then 15 USC 1602, 1605, 1640. All of them. 15 USC 1640. You really want to pay attention there. All right. But that's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is not on this either. This is about sound and healing vibration. Okay, bro. Get one more. And I don't have it here. And see, I know what it is though. So is it there? It's there. Oh wait, and I should bring these over. And oh wait, it's not there. Bruh. Okay. Oh, it's right here. No, these are all the misfires. And it's not there. All right, it's got to be right there. All right, so then here's a couple of things that you need to learn about, wherein it's ridiculous. And see, this is why we're going to talk about that double notary in just a second. And we're going to talk about the sheet of paper that's probably under the computer. Oh. Yeah, but no. All right, idea. No, these are all the misfires when I was trying to figure out how I was going to write these things. What you have to do is give yourself power of attorney and agency over your sole proprietorship, and you have to be able to prove it. And the way you prove that is by getting it notarized and then getting that notary apostille. In other words, you got to go to your courthouse or whatever and say, hey, I need a notary that says that the notary that signed this thing was a notary, because when you send it in, like I said, they'll kick it back because if you only have one notary, right? The government knows that anybody can get a notary seal. Anybody can go get what? Oops, where's mine? I have one. Oh, look. And I could just easily put notary on this seal. This doesn't say notary because I'm not, but I could get one easily, just order it, and they're going to give it to me. They're not going to ask me for proof of anything. So the government says, no, you cannot just have a notarial seal. And by the way, it's not a seal like that. That's a raised seal, because by Christ, I have been raised. But the idea that the government is responsible. Okay, well, I got to find that piece of paper so I can remember what the thing is. And oh, is it on here? No. Well, that means it's right here. That means I'm looking right at it and not recognizing what I'm looking at. All right. Yes. See, that's how it is. Ooh. All right. 8 USC 1401 is the one you want. 18 USC 1408 is not the one you want. That's a subcategory. And then what you're looking at is all this stuff. It's a red herring. It's unnecessary in order for you to exercise your rights as a consumer and your capacity to contract or not contract. And what you're doing is saying that you are authorized there it is. Jeez. That you are authorized to sign on behalf of your sole proprietorship. And it's 18 USC 8 is what I was looking for. Go look up 18 USC 8. Okay, now once you understand there's no fucking money, your Uncle Sam stole all the money in 1933, or emergency banking, all this other stuff. Actually, they stole it earlier than that. But anyway, they made it official in the 30s. Go read that stuff. Okay, if there's no money, there's only promises, there was no. Then what they said is, okay, we're going to take care of everything for you then, since you had to turn in all your money. And we have this huge fucking trust account. Your mom put all kind of stuff in there and you never claimed it, so that's sitting in there. Your grandma, everybody, since 1933. Everybody that died since 1933. Okay, so they didn't. So you got money sitting in there from generational money. You got sitting in there, actually, but you don't know how to claim it. And the way you claim it is one bite at a time. You don't try to take the whole elephant. These guys trying to go down there with the fucking $250 credit bills of credit or whatever they're doing, letters of credit. But no, they were doing something else. They're right, like it was a bond that they were trying to take to the Fed window, go direct themselves, and they're in jail because that's securities fraud. But your uncle does owe you money. So here's the thing: I don't owe money. I'm a union job. So you say you're sending me this bill: water, power, rent, mortgage, car payment, whatever the fuck it is. I went to school and did some mathematics, and I learned. And remember, for 57 years, I was just like you. That this over here on this statement. I had a statement. Right. Okay, but on that statement, that's a positive number. So how am I sending a check along with that bill, and somehow, let's just say 250 and 250 becomes zero? What? No, because see, that's a positive balance. If you don't believe me, go look. It says it's not a positive. It's not negative. Okay. Not funny. I had props for this. Okay, we're just gonna have to. I don't know what to do with them. But anyway, just go look your bill And any bill that you get, the number is positive. It's not negative. And if it ever is negative, you don't owe it. It's a credit. For every credit, there's a debt. For every debt, there's a credit. As above, so below. As above, below, so above. All right, there you go. Okay, so in a nutshell, here's how this is going to work. I know my money. My uncle owe me money. So I'm going to tell my uncle, pay you money. So here, I'm going to give you this piece of paper. And this piece of paper, you're going to take them to my uncle and he's going to pay you because you owe me. That's all it is. Is this too hard for you to understand? Apparently, yes. For 57 years, I did not understand this. I'm 62 now. I am a 5-year-old. And it takes years to figure this shit out. Yes, it does. And I have been studying since 57 and I woke up. I have been pretty much, I mean, there have been some times where I took a vacation. I was fucking around. But even when I was fucking around, I was still reading stuff. But there have been other times where you ask anybody, fucking 16, 17, 18 hours a day, I'm studying law. I'm watching videos. I'm reading books. I'm fucking, yeah, every day. For years now. Okay, too much. Got to simplify this stuff. Mansa simplifies it for you. But I'm going to tell you that now what you're going to do is you're going to take, and you don't have to get crazy like me, you're going to give yourself a power of attorney. And then you're going to give them all kinds of room over here so that you can, so that you can get your notary and then you can get that notary apostille. Okay, now Uncle Sam knows that notary was good, and that's not just some funny document. And then up here in the corner, you put so that the document has some value. Oh, and notice how it's this way, not this way. Because one way is common law, and the other way is that 90-degree turn they made us take. The 90-degree turn is you are a slave to Jew if you don't understand that you are the creditor. You are not the borrower. Your debts have already been paid. Okay, and then there's a way to sign your name. You need a thumbprint and a signature. And then you got to inform them of that. And hey, this way I sign my name. This isn't proper endorsement from the agent of this entity. And this is also, right, and I'm going to put two entities there. One is Crouton Ramon and one is Ben H. Rogers. And this is the agent, me, over here. Because Crouton Ramon and Ben H. Rogers, they don't have thumbs. They don't have thumbs. They're not going to sign nothing. They cannot put a thumbprint because they don't have thumbs. They don't have a mouth. They can't speak. The only thing you can do is write for them. So who wrote the document? They don't know if you don't tell them. By whose hand was it given? Okay, so formalities. Did I come back to that? I come back to that. Formality is everything. You're about to go on to a performance, and before you do this performance, you're going to have to know how to perform. You have to know how to say the right things to the right people using the right format, the right formalities. Because it seems like a formality, because it seems like, oh, of course I represent myself. Well, you didn't tell them that. Did you give them any advice? When you married this person, did you advise them of anything? Did you send a Form 56 in? Did you let them know that the IRS was going to, of course, was going to be involved because there might be taxable events? But you're the record keeper, not me. That's why you're getting the fees. I'm just accessing the credit. And it is not a consideration for you to make me pay back my own credit. But I got to inform you of the fact, because of course only a baby brain fucktard would do that. And that's what we all do because we're baby brained idiots that are slaves to Jews. But when you wake up, you realize, wait a minute, I have credit. I have a right to credit. That's why you want to read some of this stuff so you know that you have a right to credit. And then you know you got to read the instructions on certain IRS forms. And then when you send them advice or if you send them anything, you better define what your words mean. And then you better tell them that you understand what their words mean. So you may use some of their definitions so that you know that you're speaking the same language. But if we're not speaking the same language, then I put some stuff down here in the glossary to let you know what the fuck I mean when I use this term, and I'm not a sovereign citizen. That's defamation. And I'm most certainly not a U.S. citizen. I also consider that defamation. I'm an American citizen. I was born in America. I'm not part of that fucking corporation, which has 10 square miles of jurisdiction in Washington, D.C. And through commerce and through fuckery has made it so that they can do what the fuck they like in 50 states, even across the ocean in Hawaii, in a kingdom that they don't own. But they went along. Because why they went go, okay, these people are evil. They worship Kali. They got in boats. They went in all directions. Some of them made it all when they got all the way to the west coast of this North American continent. They called that land California. When they got to the west coast of the South American, there is a town in Colombia called Cali. You can spell it with a C. It doesn't matter if it's a C or a K. K for Cali. Cali is an ugly god of war. And they found willing participants because guess what? They were doing human sacrifice in Hawaii. They were doing human sacrifice among the Indian tribes. They were doing a human sacrifice in South America. They were all doing human sacrifice. So sacrificing the cow was just different god through sacrifice too. They're already doing sacrifice. Okay, then this guy came along and basically this is like, look, I'm the sacrifice. No more sacrificing. In fact, all your debts are paid. Okay, so if you go read, where I'm gonna put them again. What do you need? Absent minded professor, right there. That's where I'm gonna put them. You go read 18 USC 8, and you'll find out that yeah, all your debts are paid. And then here's a whole bunch of other ones you might want to write down. Just gonna shoot them off again. 15 USC 1615, 15 USC 1605. You should already have that written down. Probably just go fucking read 12 USC. It's so thick, I know. 8 USC 1102, 28 USC 1691, 8 USC 1408. Very important. 12 USC 1431, already mentioned that. 15 USC 17. Oh, go read 15 USC 17. Is your labor an article of commerce? Do they have any jurisdiction over anything other than commerce? Which is why they gave you a commercial entity to represent. But many of you got confused and thought that you and that commercial entity are the same thing. But see, I've already notified them and they have notice to the world that this thing was born on one day and this other thing was born 5 days later. So we can't be the same thing. And when I was born, I was not automatically a U.S. citizen. Somebody had to apply for me, and that person was my mother. She informed. And did not get all the documents back. There is no document that I can find. And she told me that I remember having the conversation where they inked my feet and took my soul prints and then gave her a sole proprietorship in exchange for that document. And she didn't even get a copy of that document. But anyway, when that fraud right there. And fraud vitiates everything. Fraud nullifies all contracts, and you continue the fraud. Well, not you, but if there was one of them watching, which they're not, but if they were, there may be an AI listening or something. But other than that, I doubt seriously that there's anyone of import. But the idea is that they made it so that you got confused and thought that you were the same thing as the juristic entity, which is fictional. And that fictional entity is in the looking glass world. There is think about it as the ephemeral world of state of Arizona that's up there. It's not down here. I'm on the land down here in Arizona state. Up there's this imaginary, wonderful world of imagination where the state of Arizona exists and where Ben H. Rogers exists with his social security number doing commerce. Down here on the land, in the private side, not in the land of make-believe, in the real world, there's a real living man, and they think that I'm lost at sea. Although I have told them that I'm non-deceiving. But I'm going to go back and go, okay, all right, you know what? I got to reintroduce myself. Some mistakes were made in the past. I'm not a Moor. I'm Moorish. Difference between Jew and Jewish. I'm Moorish. They ain't no Christian Moors. Moors are not Christians. Those people are absolutely nation of Islam. Right? Salem. No. Salam. And there is Salam all over the North American continent. They named these places Salem. No, Salam. All the way to the West Coast, all the way in the East Coast, all across this country. You can go get your little Google out and type in Salem. No, Salam. And you can see that the Moors were here. Anyway, the idea being is I am not Moor, I'm Moorish. I've come down a few generations. I'm absolutely Christian, but not that Christian he was nailed to a cross. No, that's the one where the Jesus told me, hey, by the way, you're the creditor and I paid all your debts. Use me. When he said use me, he wasn't saying use the name, use the example. He was the example for us dumb fucks down here. Okay, so you got to know how to sign your name. And part of being able to sign your name is letting them know that you have the capacity to do so. And then letting them know what does your signature look like. And then letting them know that you have accepted the responsibility of representing the all caps name by taking a power of attorney agreement or mandatory. Go look up that word and go figure out go read the Bills of Exchange Act and you'll figure that one out. You see that you read. You got to use big words, guys. I know you like to use big words, but you got to not only do you have to use big words, you got to know what the big words mean, and then you got to know when it's appropriate to use the word, because there are times when it's. And then here's the other thing: they supercharge words against you. And they use the boule in the comics to do so, right? Oh, nigga, they made that word. Oh, you use that word, nigga. It's just a word, but no, if you use a word, it means that. You use this right. So now we got N word, we got C word, we got F word. I think we got A word. That could mean a lot of things. Oh, we got B word, right? Ass, bitch, cunt. No, this is not made for children. Dick. Is that the D word? Is there a D word? I don't think. All right. F. Right. Okay. G word. Is there a G word? I don't think there's a G word. Is there an R word? I don't think there's an R word. The R word. I don't think there is one. But see, they supercharge the word so that just if you use the word, people get upset. Oh, he said the C word. He called me the C word. So what? It's a word. Oh, but that means that you're, I don't know, misogynist, bigot, hateful, racist, baby killer. Well, actually, probably not. But see, you're more mad at a person that uses the C words than the actual baby killers who use soft-spoken words while they enslave you. It's wonderful. Okay, so where was I? I believe I was ranting about 18 U.S.C. 8, where in fact they tell you in no uncertain terms that there isn't any fucking money and all the obligations are that of the United States government stepping in for the Jesus. Okay, so then what you're going to do is you're going to let them know. So now you got to let them know the Secretary of State, Secretary of Treasury, probably a Attorney General, and let them know that you're going to act in your majority capacity and that you claim your security interest in all things because you are not dead. You are coming back as the prodigal son. You apologize for not informing them because you know you didn't know you were supposed to do it when you were 25, or you would have, but before the age of 25, 18 to 25, you got 7 years to do it. You got 1 year of grace for that 18 and 19 when you're trying to get your 5-star passport. But they cannot tell you that you're a U.S. citizen. You can tell them that you're right, but you can't prove a negative. So now they have to prove a positive, and they can't do it. Not without including fraud. Okay, that's mathematics again. Can you prove a negative? All right, and I've been in argument. Yeah, Corey, yeah, you can. No, you can't. Fuck you, you can't. But yes, I've been in long debates with guys and proving the absence of zero and dividing by zero, all that stuff. That's mental masturbation. But it's fun. But the bottom line is you can't prove a fucking negative. You can prove a positive. You can prove, and you can prove zero by the absence of something, but you cannot prove it because there's nothing there to prove because it's zero. So you prove zero by the absence of something. So see, this logic and reasoning, nationals, right? You got your nationals. It can be just nationals of a state, but they don't necessarily have to be United States citizens. They can be citizen nationals, national citizens, but they're not U.S. citizens. However, all U.S. citizens are nationals, but not all nationals are U.S. citizens. This is not difficult to understand. And they try to confuse the issue and try to say that there aren't 50 different nation states. This is a nation of nations. And then you got to understand what a fucking nation is. So maybe you should read the Law of Nations. Oh, fuck, that's a thick book. But you're going to need to read the Law of Nations so you understand a thing or two, but you don't need it to be able to exercise your capacity to contract. But you should probably go read some history so you have, okay, so all this stuff, that takes years also. You got to, it's like taking a history course. And then understanding why, what happened, how come Magna Carta, how come Cestui Que Act of 1666, how come Securities and Exchange Act 1831, how come? What were they trying to accomplish? Why did they do the 1913? Why did they do the things they did in 33? Yeah, because shit was falling apart. 29 fucking did fuck some stuff up. And they were using let no good crisis go to waste. We can enslave these fuckers even more. Especially if they remain ignorant and they refuse to read. So I'll tell you what, we're going to figure out, we're going to tell them how they can get out of the pen. But what we're going to do is we're going to put those words in a book, and then we're going to put the book in a library. And in this case, they're going to make the words all flowery, and it's going to be allegory, and it's going to be not literal. It's going to be metaphors, and it's going to be, really, you think bread? Really? Bread wasn't a clue. Bread and fishes and loaves, and then 12 baskets. Really, go read the story. It wasn't bread. Well, it was bread, but it wasn't that kind of bread. And when you eat the bread I'm trying to give you right now. Okay, so you got to inform people that, oh, by the way, I woke up and I have capacity to contract. I'm allowed to sign for this guy that has no thumbs. He gave me an agency agreement, and now I'm going to act on his behalf and make some claims that are in the best interests of the consumer and the national and this other person. Okay, so one of the claims is you can't be fucking going down to the Federal Reserve window, taking my application, and then one, denying me credit, saying that I, for whatever reason, I got to change my credit report or I got to do this or that. No, I have access to credit. As a consumer, I have a right to credit. It's in the law. Okay, and then I want you to be, okay, but when you do that, you're going to have to let them know ahead of time with some notice. So look, I let these guys know that I have a capacity to contract, and I'm appointing you as fiduciary, and take my advice. Here's some advice. When you take this contract, if you decide not to approve me and go run away with the money, because that's what they're going to do, they're going to punch you in the face and say, I took your money. What you going to do about it, slave? Well, you're going to say that's securities fraud, first off, because you used my social security number, which I gave you authority to use, so you could go to the Fed window to get money, and then you try to tell me that you didn't get money, lie, or B, oh yeah, here's your credit, and you can access it with this card, but you got to pay us back every time you access your credit. What the fuck is that? And we all went, okay, no. My uncle owed me money, so I'm using this to access the money my uncle owed me, and right now that money is like fucking millions and millions and fucking millions. And I saw it with my own eyes. It's not some fairy tale patriot thing. I went to the GMEI utility and looked up some of my accounts and looked up some of the numbers and looked up, right? Because I had a lot of those numbers memorized. I used to pay my Shell bill constantly. You know how much my fucking Shell bill is worth, my Shell account? And whose account? Who's the owner of the account? Do they own the account? No. They're the manager of the account. They are the borrower. That's the only thing they can do. They can go to the Fed window and borrow on your behalf. That's it. And then they have all kind of laws about how they can calculate interest. That's when you're talking about. That's when we're talking about what is it? 15 USC 1602 to 1605 and all that stuff. That's where you're going to find that stuff. And then 15, and then and then you got to, like I said, 12 USC 1431. And then see what you're going to do is you're going to look up in the government printing office manual. You're going to see that they mention the fact that there's a way to style an Illinoisan or a Texan or a Wisconsinite or whatever it is. All of them are listed there. Okay, I'm one of those. I'm not one of these. Okay, none of that matters when it comes to contracting. What's that got to do with the price of tea in China? Not a fucking thing, secured party creditor people. Okay, but it does let them know, oh, shit, he might come after our bonds later. All right, so then you get your documents sent off to the appropriate places, and you get the stuff back. And by the way, when you send them off, you're going to send them off like this, because you're getting the UPU involved. They hate these, and you're going to send them anyway. And it's also, they're going to pay attention when it shows up. And you're also going to know when it got delivered, down to the fucking minute. And you're going to want a green card back. And there are some dickheads down at the post office that are going to try and tell you that a green card doesn't go with it, but you can look right on the green card. Green card? What's that? Bob, you don't by now know what a green card is. You probably shouldn't be on this channel, but all right. Maybe you just somehow managed to mosey on in here. This is the green card. The appropriate name, or the most correct name for this, is the 3811. Yes, this is Postal Service Form 3811. All right, and right here on the 3811, any of you guys working at the post office, nobody ever checks these boxes, but you should. But right there, is it certified, collected delivery, right? Because maybe you got a thing. Is it insured mail? Is it Priority Express? Is it registered mail? Because the guy was trying to tell me, I don't use a green card with that. Yes, you fucking do. Read the card. Read the card. Just read the card. Read the card. Read the card. It's a punchline for a joke. Okay, so there's this gay guy who goes into a doctor's office and he wants to get a prostate exam. He says, oh, my ass is killing me. Can I get a prostate exam? And the doctor knows the guy's gay. And it's like, fuck. But it's like, no, he really seems to be in physical distress. And he's like, So he finally gets him into the office. He bends the guy over and he's like, what the fuck? There's all these things. Pulls this thing out. He's like, a fucking bouquet of roses up your ass. What the fuck? He's like, read the card. Read the card. Anyway. Read the card. And then that's the other thing, as Monza and other people, you got no fucking excuse. The IRS gives you instructions, and most of the time they're absolutely clear. And if they're not clear, they give you a phone number to fucking call so you can make it clear. I got some questions on this form. Yes, sir, I'd be happy to help you. They tell you why you got to fill out the form. They tell you who to send the form to. They tell you to add correct address. If you take this form and you send them to the wrong address, what the fuck? What you doing? You don't can read. I am guilty, by the way. Okay, and the IRS got to get involved. You're getting married, cuz. You got to let them know. And then you got to give this guy some advice. Take my advice. Unless you want to go to court with me, you're going to extend my credit to me. And I'm going to turn all of your bills into orders to pay. I'm not promising. I am ordering Uncle Sam to go to this account, right? Actually, I'm not ordering Uncle Sam. I'm ordering you as the borrower. I am the lender. I lent you my security interest. You do not have a security interest that's superior to mine. I'm the lender of that. Oh, yes, you do, because you're thinking that I'm a minor, because I didn't put any paperwork in that told the IRS or anybody else that I'm non-decedent, that I'm not lost at sea, that I'm claiming my estate, and that I plan on using my credit that is mine and that I have a right to, and that John F. Kennedy, what did he do? The Consumer Bill of Rights? Maybe you should read that Consumer Protection Act, Consumer Bill of Rights. What are some of the rights of the consumer? And then maybe you should read some of the maxims, because the maxims and some of those rights go hand in hand. But you have a right to that credit. Okay, but they're not just going to go, oh, well, you're 62 now, and we're going to give it to you because we've been ripping you off for fucking since you were 14 and a half, and we feel bad about it. We're going to clear the accounts, and we're going to let you access your credit card. No, they're not. Oh, you wrote us some papers. Okay, no, we're going to have to go to court, and you're going to have to threaten them. You're going to have to let them know that you read Ecclesiastes, there's guys higher than you, and there's guys higher than this court who take securities fraud and breach contract and violation of consumer rights the counts could be long, but don't do many counts, just do one or two counts. And then it's not what you think, it's not how you feel, it's what you can prove. Can you prove that they were discriminating against you based on the fact that you were a minor? Even though you're 60 or 50 or however old you are, as long as you're over the age of 25. Because before the age of 25, there's some other stuff you need to do. And I'm not telling you about that because I'm 62. So I'm telling you what you do after the age of 25 and you fucked up and you didn't fucking claim your estate when you were between the age of 18 and 25. Because none of us did. And then they sit around and they hope that you never do and know your loved ones don't. And then a certain amount of days go by. It's many days, but it's still days. And there's enough of them that they turn into years. It's true. But the idea is that they claim the estate for you. You never claim them. Nobody will claim them. However, there is a clause that says they're supposed to put it outside in case somebody comes back, in case it turns out that the heir is not lost at sea, in case it turns out that you are in fact not lost at sea. You are supposed to let them know, oh, by the way, I'm not lost at sea and I'd like my estate, please. And they're going to go, fuck you. Prove it's you. Well, I got a green stamp on this thing and I opened up a Treasury Direct account. I already proved it's me. So you may not have proved it's you. So you're going to have to go stand in front of a notary and say, hey, a man came here. And see, this is the thing. You can go with a private ID, go in front of a notary, have another person testify to the fact that that's you. The notary signs it. Now, it's not good. It's not good. You only get one notary. Could be fake. Maybe you own faker. Maybe you in fucking go to the Mexicans right over here, around the corner. Actually, it's a couple blocks away, but it's not far. And I walk past and I know what that place is. But anyway, they will fake an ID for you. And it's going to look as fucking good as good as new. You will not be able to tell just by looking. You're going to have to need some equipment to tell that thing is fake. But anyway, and even then, you might not be able to tell. But the idea is that the government understands this, so they're going to want your notary to be notarized. They're going to want somebody from the state or the courts or somebody to let them know that the guy that you went in front of was an actual notary. Otherwise, they're going to kick back your forms. That's right, Virginia. One notary is not enough. You can't just go down to your bank for free. You're going to have to pay somebody. Or actually, probably not. You may go down to the courts and they'll do it for you for free. And they'll look it up. Yep, that's a good notary. They'll do the thing. Or you can send it in by paperwork to the Secretary of State or whoever the head. Go look in your state. Who's the head of your notaries? And usually it's going to be the clerk of the court. Anyway, they can do it for you. It'll take a whole lot longer if you send it to the wrong place, and it can go fast if you just walk up to the fucking window and they'll go, yep, and skibwidik, and hand it back to you. Do you need copies? Is usually what they'll say. But no, you scared to go to the government building and it's fucking a pain in the ass because you got to park and fucking get meters and Yep. You want out of the pen or not? Okay, so then you send in these documents and it's you. And not only is it you that has the capacity to contract, and you let them know it's you and that you have the capacity to contract. Because otherwise, how do they know it's you? Because they know, and they did it to me. They can. I can put up a picture, and I could over here. It could say Crouton Ramon, and I have Crouton Ramon in my picture. Does that make me Crouton Ramon? Do it. I can put a picture next to me, and it can say 100 Monkey. Does that make me 100 Monkey? How about if I have this picture and I put a picture on it and it says I'm Ben H. Rogers? Does that make me Ben H. Rogers? Because I'm here to tell you that I already let everybody know that Ben Hosea and Ben H. Rogers are two different things. One is a juristic entity, one is a living man, one is a natural person. And you may define that in your document so there can be no mistake. When I say a natural person, I'm talking about a living, breathing, fresh, not a juristic entity, not a thing that exists only on paper and in fiction, but an actual living, breathing man that has to eat. You don't need to put a lot in there, but you get the idea. All right. And you got to let them know. Otherwise, how do they know? A matter must be spoken to be expressed. Right? It must be expressed, right? Fuck. Now I got to look at that thing. A matter must be spoken to be expressed. A matter must be expressed to be heard. A matter must be heard to be. Brah, really? Matter must be. I hope you're watching this on 2 times speed. Must be expressed. Maxim. I'll get close. See, it used to be you could get close and what do you call? There you go. In commerce, for any matter to be resolved, it must be expressed. There you go. For a matter to be resolved, it must be expressed. So if they don't, if you don't tell something, anyway, you got to resolve it. What you trying to resolve? Trying to resolve the fact that you are the representative of the all caps name, and you're authorized, and you have the capacity to do so, and you're over the age of 18, and you got a birth certificate that shows, oh yeah, I was born on this date. And see, my birth certificate shows not only that I was born on this date, but this other entity was born on that date. And then there was the birth registration, and the birth registration happened after I was born. So I'm first in line, first in time. I was here first. I'm the originator. I'm the creator. I am the creditor. And then they gave that creditor a way to access the credit and didn't tell you how to do it so that they could use that name and that number to access your credit without telling you. You wanna have your shorts chap a little? You ever use your social security number to get a job? Have you ever filled in a job application where you put your social security number on it? Yeah, they're paying you out of your own trust. You're gonna have to get over it. And I'm not lying. And you can fact check me. But you're being paid out of your own trust. Slave. Ignorant fucking slave. I was paid out of my own trust. You can resolve that, but let bygones be bygones. You might want to have justice be done, but you should probably let a lot of bygones be bygones. Forgive the debt. And from this day forward, ha ha ha, you got me. And for the rest of your life, you realize you got an infinite well to drink from. The water, the well, as much as they make noise to the muggles, so it's never going to run dry. The wealth of this nation is incalculable. There's more gold hidden in the Philippines than you even know what to fucking do with. Anyway, and that's just the Philippines. Never mind the Grand Canyon. Never mind Fort Knox. Never mind other places where it's in the ground. See, what they told these people back in the day, the ones that finally came and took this thing over, you got fucking peasants with gold in their pockets. The fuck's wrong with you? Get that gold and silver out of the peasants' pockets and give them some paper. And the peasants at first were a little annoyed with this, but it only took 3 generations, and now the peasants will rather have paper than silver or gold. It's that easy. Sent in the government school for 12 years. I went to government school, but I paid for mine. But it was a government education. Ain't nobody told me that I had this majority security interest, and that there was this trust fund account. That this is how you access it. You don't need a black card. You don't need to. All you need to do is understand how to contract, and then just let them know. A lot of times that you do this, and they'll try to close the account. You don't get to close the account. It's my account. I'm the owner of the account. I'm not giving you permission to close it. And I know for a fact that when you tell me that you're going to close the account, you keep it open. So I'll tell you what. Since you're saying that you're closing the account, give me the 1099-A on this account and the Form 990 that goes along with this. Because I'm pretty sure you're not telling the IRS. And see, that's what immediately, if you had already told them that, it doesn't matter. This card is fine. It's an old card, and it's a dumb number, and you couldn't do anything with it anyway. All right, but the idea is that if you are the manager of the account, you don't get to, I'm the owner of the account. I'm the principal. Okay, so there's three things when you look on your statement. There's the principal's name. You're going to see it in all caps there, generally, or maybe they'll put it in what do you call title, but most likely it's going to be in all caps. There's going to be an account number. That's the principal's account number. That's your account. You own that account. And see, if you look, a contract has to be signed by two people, and you're going to be the only one that puts a wet ink signature on it. The other ones, they have signed it, but they signed it with their logo. See that right there? That's a signature. And that's trademarked. You better not use it. Did you do that to yours? Or can anybody use your signature? Yeah, anybody's using your signature, and they are. Okay, so you give them the application. The application goes to the Fed window, and they steal your money. And then you pay them back. Whether it's your whatever you put your Social Security number on. All of it. All of it. That's why Grandma said don't sign anything. We signed everything. We signed all kind of stuff. And we didn't give them any instructions. And then we didn't include a Form 56. Right? And then you didn't know how to use a Form 56. Maybe you should read the instructions for Form 56. Just saying. Okay, and then you got to make some provable claims upon release can be granted, because you know you're going to do a three-step process after you learn this information and you've done all of this stuff. Now you can start being a dick. And what kind of dick? The kind of dick that stands on his rights. But guess what, people? You all chicken shit motherfuckers. You cannot be penalized for exercising a right. You can be penalized for fraud. And you don't have a right to fraud. You don't get to do that. There's not right. You don't get to be fraudulent. They don't have a right to be fraudulent either. In fact, they're supposed to be up and up, and they're not. They're liars. And they trick you into thinking that it's a consideration or that it's your privilege to pay them back your own credit. This goes for mortgages too. If you have a mortgage, I have never had a mortgage. But if you have a mortgage, you are a slave to Jew. Because you go to work so you can pay your mortgage. You don't go to work because you love your job. You go to work because if you don't go to fucking work, you won't have a place to live. Simple as that. You'll be homeless. And they make sure you see homeless people shitting in the streets so you don't become homeless. It's on the news. It's on social media. There's homeless everywhere. There's always going to be homeless. There's never not going to be homeless. And the best thing you can fucking do for the homeless, in the words of my own grandmother, is not be one of the fucking homeless. So the way you do that is get yourself some education. Read this thing. This is a good book to read. You should probably read this book and then read it with new eyes and understand that all them Bible stories, most of them have to do with being the creditor. It talks about slaves and how to treat your slaves. And so you're going to figure out that there's a lot of people that, no, I got to pay my bills. You're this guy full of shit. He can't. You got to pay your bill. You got to go to work to pay your bills. You can't just pay your bills by signing your name. There ain't no fucking account. Yusuf El will tell you, they know it's imaginary. Is there a public trust account? Yes, there is. Is it yours? No, it's not. It's everybody's. And you have access to it. If you try to claim the account, well, fuck you. You don't get to have the account. It's not your account. But if you claim access to the account, you claim your share, you claim your stake, you claim, hey, I put money into this since I was 14 fucking years old. And hey, I've been paying these bills that actually, it turns out, in 1933, you told us that you were going to take care of this for us because you stole all the fucking money. You made our grandparents or great-grandparents, in some of your cases, maybe more than that, turn in all their gold and silver, and then you gave them paper in return, and then you fucked them in the ass very, very shortly afterwards by revaluing the gold that they had just turned in. All right, they're about to do the same, and it won't matter. Bills of exchange will still be bills of exchange, and they're still going to be promissory notes. And if they're backed by gold, it doesn't matter. You still have credit. Now, JP Morgan made a famous quote. He said something to the effect that gold is money and everything else is credit. Now, you can use credit to buy gold. But if it's not gold, it's credit. You have a right to access credit as an American. As one of those born in one of the several states who descends from people that were born in the several states, because the U.S. corporation took over for the Republic, but they said, and they weren't lying, that they would take care of the originals and take care of the people here, and that all your needs will be met. And there's two ways to do it. There's one way where you're sovereign and you have a right and you're being the owner, and there's the other way to do it where you're the citizen and you're getting benefits and privileges, and they make it seem like it's not your right, it's your privilege to be able to eat and have a place to live and enjoy electricity. Oh, and clean water. Well, maybe not clean water. Fuck it, we'll give the fucking Jews a couple of billion every fucking week, and you can drink dirty water. Oh wait, we gotta spend what are we up to now? $500 billion on Ukraine. That's really easy. If it's up to 500 billion, I lost count. I quit counting when it broke like 4 something. Anyway, it depends on how you count and who's counting, but it's just crazy how many billions of dollars. All right, but you could take 50 and divide into 500. That's pretty easy. 10 of them, $10 billion a day. Think you get some free? They're not free. You can just get some fresh, well, free fresh water, free clean fresh water. For $10 billion, think Arizona could figure out how to fucking get clean water here coming out of the taps for $10 fucking billion? Probably not, because they're fucking idiot Masons who don't know what the fuck they're doing. And we have a state here where the woman she certified her own election. And what they're trying to do, and the MAGA people have actually did a clean sweep in the last election. Everybody that was MAGA won. All the Republicans won in the midterms here. But the idea is that the Democrats are trying to move in because anywhere where it's prosperous, and this state is prosperous, they want to come in and leech and fucking just steal and be the right. They don't give a shit. Okay, none of that matters if you know about right. Okay, but you could now have maybe some free time to keep some of these fucking public officials in their place and not have it ripping everything. Because you know what? In the long term, bro, you suffer. Because your wife can't walk down certain places and be safe, or your daughter, or you send them. Because I tell you what, you would have ever so much less crime if people didn't have to worry about money. But instead, they're being ripped off every day. Now, you can be ripped off like that. You are, or you can wake the fuck up and start reading. And you don't do a goddamn thing until such time as you know what the fuck you're doing. You know what you're writing, you know why you're writing it, and you know who you're going to send it to. Here, I'll read you one simple one. Not that one. This other one. Crouton Ramon, the living individual, serial number 86705.803, because I got a trademark for Crouton Ramon. Hereby grants to the one named Ben Hosea, that would be me, and I will appear in person, of the House of Rogers, this mandatory award for the full power of attorney to act on behalf of Crouton Ramon as attorney in fact, with full agency to act as Crouton Ramon's hand in all matters public and private from this day forward. This mandatory award is transferable. 28 U.S.C. 1746-1, what's that? That's me signing outside United States. And Mark 1019, that's me reiterating, don't do fraud, commit no fraud. And then also UCC 1308, what's that? This is me reserving all my rights. And then I'm going to sign that by, that would be me. And this is all going to be in red, by the way. See? Red, brown. Okay, but see, that signature is not complete. It needs 2 more things because I'm a Christian, and I show that I'm a Christian by having a raised signature. My paperwork is not dead, and I use a raised seal. You'll notice that the new notaries do not use raised seals. They use stamps. They just stamp on it. See, in the other documents that doesn't show up, that's why the LS, here lies the seal. Because when you copy that document, it's going to be flat. Now, I can make a copy of the document, and I can make, quote unquote, an original copy by putting a seal and a thumbprint on that document too. And now it becomes an original copy. All right. You can also take it to a notary and have them certify original copy. And then you're going to have to go get the notary notarized. And then, okay, so it takes two. It takes two, like, it takes two to make a thing go right. They sing to you and try to tell you the stories, and you don't get it. It takes two. Okay. So, oh wait, and then I didn't say that. Now there's a form. Fuck it. I don't know what it is. I'll put it down below. 9848. The authentication form. It's the green authentication form. Request for authentication service. That is form. There it is. That's the one I'm looking for. Notice how it's nice and green. Estimated burden of time to fill the thing out 10 minutes. OMB document control number 1405-0254. So you know it's an official government form from the U.S. Department of State. If you got problems, for information or questions, you can call 202-485-8000 and ask them, "Hey, I have questions about this form." And they'll say, "What kind of questions do you have, you baby-brained idiot?" I bet you I can help you, though, because it's pretty self-explanatory. Anyway, the form number that you're looking for is the, what do they call it? It's the 4194, DS 4194. And you want the latest copy, because I had this one all filled out, and then I didn't realize that I had an old form. And the lady was like, "What the fuck?" Anyway, and then I looked stupid. All right. And the expiration date on this form is 8/31/26. So this form is good. All right. That's the form you're going to use to request an authentication. So once you've done all of that, now you can go, "Hey, you know what, you apostles. All right, here, I'll read this to you. Now this will work." Maybe. Because you might even say, but right? Um, okay, let's say you just applied for. Okay, here's another fun thing. You ever go to a dealership and you applied for the Mercedes, but they put you in a Honda? Well, it's a used car dealership. Maybe you applied for the cool, super duper, I don't know what, Escalade, and you drove off in a Chevy, Malibu. They keep the difference because the application was for the higher car, and then they pocket the difference when they put you in the cheaper car. You didn't hear it from me. Okay, you could say something like, I applied for credit on such and such, and here's my application number, and here's the thing, and here's that, and I was denied. Denying access to my own credit is a violation of rights and discrimination. What rights? Consumer rights? Discrimination? What? Is there a place that age discrimination is codified in the U.S. Code? You might want to mention that. With withholding access to my own credit and my security interest is securities fraud. It in fact is. And you can do a 3-step process where in fact you're going to ask for specific performance, which they hate to give that, but they will give specific performance as opposed to pay the fine that you can show that they're going to owe, because from the day that you sent this letter to the day that you wind up in court is a fine. And generally, depending on 1 tier, 2 tier, or 3 tier, it can be like $5,000 a day. And you're not getting to court in 7 days. It's going to take a few days to get a court date and all that kind of stuff. And then, see, that's the easiest part. Doing the court part's the easy part. Understanding all this is the hard part. But going through the motions of doing court, any monkey can do that. And they do. Okay. Let's see here. Securities fraud, and you are violating the ECOA, Consumer Credit Protection Act. You are so if you in fact are denying my wait, first you got to mention the Consumer Credit Protection Act, which you should read. Anyway, you are also in violation of the Consumer Credit Protection Act. Since you are denying me my credit, either return the application to me or destroy it. Oh no, they can't return the application to you because they've already gone to the Fed window and cashed it in. I guarantee you. By the time you get the letter and so forth, they've already, all this is in motion. They haven't, right? Okay, so previous to you applying for credit at Capital One, you might send the CFO of Capital One a Form 56 and a letter of advice and your mandatory agreement showing that you're able to, and what your signature is supposed to look like. You know, some documents. And then tell him that if he denies your credit, you're going to sue him in court. And it's going to cost you a lot because as attorney in fact, for that name, you charge, your billable rate is $1,500 an hour, which is what a lot of guys are. Some are $400 an hour, whatever you want to charge. Just make sure you get paid when you go to court. Because when they lose, they're going to owe you attorney fees. They're going to owe court fees. And your attorney fees, you got to put it in with the court. And then see, you got to know how to do that because if you didn't put any attorney fees in and you do it after the fact, then it's like, no, you got to do it before. All right, so that's all going to be, you need to know all this stuff. All right, so then when you apply for credit with Capital One, and you tell them, oh, I'm going to apply on something, that when you send this letter, you might have them reverse it because the CFO is going, oh yeah, this guy told me he was coming. But most of the time, you don't tell them you're coming, and you write a letter like that, and like, so what? Fuck, take us to court. Go ahead. You guys always say you're going to take us to court, and you never do. I can't wait to get back in the court. I hope they drag me into court. And there's some stuff where I'm going to absolutely have to go to court because no statute of limitations on fraud. And it's all fraud. And it's securities fraud. Oh, that's another thing. When you go caught, where did they get your social security number? How did they get your social security number? Because they get your social security number and then they do a whole bunch of stuff, but you're supposed to give them permission and they're going to assume that you gave them permission? Yes, because you're a slave. But if you, and you never mention it, so what? Did you mention the fact that you're a little tiffed at the, maybe perhaps miffed that they used your social security number to open a case against you? Without letting you, okay, so maybe if you've done some paperwork, right? Okay, and once again, capacity, if you show that you can sue them, they don't want to get sued and they leave you alone. And especially if you're not coming in as a plaintiff, or excuse me, as a defendant, you're coming in as the plaintiff. Because you're going to do a simple process wherein you take that letter, if it has to go to this point because you haven't done your shit before this, you take that letter and you tell them, you got 30 days to grant me my credit, give me back the application, you know, okay, anyway, you need to know what to write in those letters and that you have the security interest and that you are the principal and that you are the creditor and that you are accessing your credit and that your Uncle Sam owes you money and that you are accessing credit to this account and you're supposed to be the manager. You don't get to tell me whether I get to access my credit or not because I have a right to that credit. I'm exercising a right. What's my intent? My intent is to stand on my right as a consumer to my credit. Exercise my right. It doesn't matter if you're an American, doesn't matter if you're a US citizen, doesn't matter. You're exercising your capacity. Now, here's the thing. As a U.S. citizen, they assume you are not fit to contract. As a U.S. citizen, they assume you're a minor. They call it the infantry for a reason. Infantry. Wake up, folks. They're infants. Yes, these people are so evil, they send babies off to war in sacrifice to Kelly. Yes, they do. The ones that are... yeah, supposedly it's incompetence that tricked the guy into sending our guys out to war in Iran. The sacrifice to Kelly. Yes, that's what they did. That's why they bombed the girls' school. Are you kidding me? Do you think they didn't know? Do you think with all the technology that they have and they've told you over and over again and you're supposed to be afraid of it and all the flock cameras and all the satellites and fucking read the brand of the golf ball in the golf course, you think that they didn't know that that was a girls' school, really? And that it was just, we just targeted it on accident. We didn't have any previous data, and we didn't see little girls going in and out of the school and parents dropping their kids off over and right. We didn't see any of that. We didn't know. We just dropped the bomb on it. Oops, sorry. or was it a sacrifice to Kelly? And what day did this all start? See, that's the other thing I've been doing, and why you haven't seen me for so long, is I have been studying alchemy. And you're going to think I'm a complete crazy person, but look at me at 62. Do I look 62 to you? My teeth are fucked up, but that's going to be easy to fix with prosthesis. And now that I know what I know, my teeth are fucked up, but they're white and solid, and all the cavities have grown back in. But it's too late. The gums and it's fucked up. So I'm just going to pop these things out and put in the new prosthesis. They will be better than these things, sort of. And I'm gonna get silver in my grill. You definitely got to have a silver tooth. Come on. Anyway, silver though, not mercury, because I got mercury in my mouth, and that's part of the reason why I got problems. Anyhow, the point being is that once you figure some of this shit out, and then what? You see problem medical like that? What? I just signed. Use a credit card. Right? Get one of these for 10 grand. I've had cards. I've had numerous cards for 10 grand. I think the most I ever had on one card was 25 grand. My credit limit was 25. Oh, and then I had one card to just pay it off at the end of the month. It was an American Express card. It had no limit. And I tested it out. As long as I paid it off at the end of the month, they didn't give a shit how much it was. What? Because they're accessing your own credit. And then you pay them back. They love you. You fucking stupid pagan. You tell them you're Christian and that the Christ paid and he redeemed you and redeemed all your sins, and then you're a slave to you anyway. I have good news. The good news is you are the creditor. I guess the good news comes with bad news. The bad news is you got to read. You want to be ignorant and free. You want what has never been and what will never be. And so you got to read. And I got to read, and you got to understand the words. And Mansa, there's videos where he'll fucking read it to you. Right, so if you're reading the Federal Reserve Act, you want to read like part 20, so section, what is it? Section 26, and I can't remember, section 16. Anyway, read the Bill of Exchange Act. It's kind of important. And read the Federal Reserve Act. That's kind of important. And then understand that a lot of stuff that they're doing, you got to send a little packet with your mandatory, with your form 2848, with your form 56. And what is 2848? Power of attorney. So for things concerned with the 1099s and the form 990s and all shit that has to do with your credit card account that you don't ever see, that you don't know about, you're going to give that CFO the power of attorney so that he can just do some shit for you monthly and not close the account. And you don't have to go to court every month. You don't have to send in paperwork every month. It just gets handled. And then a 1099A, you should know what about that. And then you need to send a signature, and your signature better be in written. And then you got to send them some written instructions. And where is that? That's all codified in law at I don't remember. But it tells you what to do in the acts. Okay, because otherwise they consider you the minor. They consider you the minor. And they become the majority owner with the ability to lien and so on. Okay, so when you walk into court, you need to identify who's here. Right? Allow me to introduce myself. You need to know that I am the creditor. You are the borrower. I gave you my security interest. Okay, and you're not going to say it like that, because who are you? You are agent for the guy, all caps name guy. So what I'm saying as agent for the all caps name is that the all caps name has a greater interest in this account than you do. That is the owner of the account, and I am the holder in due course of these documents. And then you need to know who the holder is. You need to know who the drawer is. You know who the drawee. That'll all be explained to you when you read the Bill of Exchange Act. And if you use AI to help you, that'll explain even more. And then you can figure out some of the history and all kinds of stuff. And see, I could get into great detail. Mansa goes into great detail. But you should already know. I've shown you over the years in this account or in this, I don't know, in the 100 Monkey channel, how to do a 3-step process. Because this is basically notarial protest. What are you protesting? You're protesting the fact that they're not giving you access to your own credit. Or if they do give you access to your own credit, they steal that access and make you pay them for the privilege of accessing your credit. Really, they're doing you such a favor that you have to pay them to access your own credit. Your uncle owes you money. You tell your uncle, and then they take the money and they don't pay the person that is supposed to get the money. They're the bully on the playground that steals the lunch money. Your uncle give you all kind of money, and they take it, and then you don't do anything about it. You don't complain. You don't take them to court. You didn't even tell them that they weren't supposed to take your money. You should at least do that much. Hey, don't take my money. I'm the creditor. I'm the principal. I'm acting on behalf of this juristic entity. I'm sui juris now. I read the law. I didn't just say I read the law. I actually read the law. And then here's the other thing. A lot of this law I have already read. I used to teach the Securities Exchange. I did start right because you need that for your securities license. But I was reading it like a slave. Now I read, oh shit. See, and you got to know who the borrower is, who's the lender, who's the creditor, right? You got to know the words principal account. You got to know discharge because they're going to say shit like, that ain't money. There ain't no money, Your Honor. Are you trying to say the Federal Reserve note, a promissory note, is money? No, it's a promise to pay. It's often achieved. You get promissory notes by trading labor for them. But labor doesn't have anything to do with this because 15 USC 17 says that labor is not an article of commerce, so it doesn't really come into this discussion, does it? Because you only have jurisdiction over commerce. And if you have jurisdiction over more than commerce, please tell me what that jurisdiction is. Because even crimes, they've turned into commercial crimes, or crimes are commerce. Okay, but like I said, good news, you're the creditor. Good news that Christ died for your sins. No need for sacrifice. He already was a sacrifice. He told you what to do. He told you about signs and symbols. He told you all that stuff. You use your all caps name and access your credit. And you can create as many juristic entities as you'd like. You can create LLCs, you can create trusts, and you're the agent. You are not the trust. You are not the all caps name. You are not the LLC. You may feel like you're married to the company, but you are not the company. You are marrying these guys, and every time you enter into a contract with one of these guys, you need to send Form 50. So you need to send them a little packet of information to the CFO, letting them know that you're not the average muggle and that you are expecting to access your credit. And if they fucking deny you, it's going to be court. So take my advice. And I'm not, right, as attorney in fact for this entity, I don't come cheap. Hundreds of dollars an hour, and it's going to take many hours to go to court. And so you bill them for every time you got to go to the mailbox, every time you got to go to the post office and send them something. You bill. Every time you got to read something so you know what the fuck you're doing, right? You bill. Right? And then here's the thing: go look online. How do lawyers bill? Go look at billing software. Or maybe you have a friend that's a lawyer or somebody that knows a lawyer, and you ask them, how do you bill? You got to keep track of your hours for each case. And some guys are very generous with their billing. Like they'll work on a case like 12 hours and only bill for like 1 or 2 because it's a friend or something. Right? Or on the other hand, they'll work 15 minutes and bill for an hour. And they'll work 5 minutes and bill for an hour, and then a couple of days later, they work for another 5 minutes and bill for an hour. Whatever. Anyway, figure out how to do your billing so that you can get paid to go to court. You don't have to even ask for the bond. You're just going to have it as part of the settlement because you're going to win. Now, here's the thing. You're not going to win if you don't know what to say. And a lot of times they say the first time you go to court, you're going to lose. But then on appeal, you're going to win. But see, then they're hoping that since they smack you, you won't come back. But if you know that, oh, you're going to win, and you understand that you're going to win because you are the creditor, and they're just saying no because you didn't do something right. And they're not going to tell you what you didn't do right. So I'm trying to show you all the different things here that normally will get your shit kicked back because you didn't do it right, because you didn't double the notary, because you didn't send it to the right person. And there's the other thing: got to respond within time. You got to give them a deadline. Right? Hey, in this case, I'm going to give you 10 days to respond. You're harming me by not accessing. I was counting on that credit. I had this, this, and this in mind. What's my intent? My intent is to exercise my right. Right? Or, I needed that car. I'm walking. Or I am, are you kidding me? I need a place to live, and this mortgage is bullshit. And you got the guys that know how to evaporate mortgages. That's a whole other field, but it's basically the same thing. Is that they used your security interest, and then you gave them a blank endorsement, and then they took the money, and now you're paying them back for the money that they took out of your account, principal and interest. And they'll throw some taxes in there. And they'll do all kind of, and they'll make all kind of stuff like that. If you read a car contract, they'll make life easy for you. They're going to go register the car for you and destroy the MS manufacturer certificate of origin, MCO. There's ways around that. Let's say I want to ship my car to a different nation. Okay, and they're not going to believe you when you drive off the lot and say that you're driving off the United States and into Arizona State. So maybe you have a friend in Colombia. You have a son in Colombia who needs a car. Now, I can't ship my car to Colombia without a MCO. They're not going to let it on the boat. So you can't destroy it because I want to ship it. Otherwise, there's no deal. So I want that in the glove compartment, just like it was when I was a boy. I used to buy cars, and there were pink slips in there, and that was the manufacturer's certificate of origin. And also, there were other slips in there. I've seen them my own self, and now they are so fraudulent that they destroy that and give you a certificate of title, which gives you equitable interest in that car, but not legal interest in that car. And since they have legal title, they are allowed to, how shall we say, regulate that merchandise, that car that you're driving. And the way that they regulate it is with police who policy enforce, because they have policies with regard to that motor vehicle. Now, if it's your private automobile, that's a whole other thing. But they try to make sure that you don't ever figure out the whole private automobile thing. But if you are ever called into court, now they drag me into court. They won't drag me into court. But if they did drag me into court, I'd just sign my name and give my social security number. And if they don't know what to do with it, we'll have more court, and they'll get chastised. And see, that's the other thing. When you write letter of advice, let them know that at the lower court, because a lot of times they're in cahoots, and if the judge is in cahoots, you'll be looking for censure for the judge that didn't uphold your rights as he had an oath. And then you'll be looking into make sure that he has an oath of office. And I've gone into that 100 times. I never met a judge that had an actually valid oath of office with an anti-bribery statement and all that stuff. Okay, and then you also may want to go through the formality, because formality is everything, of asking them if you need to be a registered foreign agent, because you're acting as an agent for this entity. And if you're acting as an agent for foreign trust, or for one of those things that needs a 98 EIN number, then if you're acting as agent for a foreign, then you might, all right. But you probably don't need to, because you're probably not going to try to lobby the government or make the government. But if you are going down to county council meetings or going down there on behalf of your all caps name, you may need to register if you're trying to influence. Probably they will say, that's okay. But, just in case. Formalities are everything. Everything I talked about. Sending it to them 3 times. That's formality. I should have told you once, and that should have been good enough. But you know what? 30 days gone by, you haven't responded, or you responded with some kind of non-response bullshit. So I'm sending you giving you a second chance to cure this. Oh, you didn't cure. All right, okay, so third time, no third time. This is your letter of default. Okay, three-step process. And then you go perfect that in a court of law. And what are you perfecting? You're perfecting the fact that you applied for a car, a house, a credit card, a whatever the fuck, and they denied you your own credit based on some bullshit credit report. Now, here's the other thing with your credit report. What they've done to me is they wipe my credit report like monthly. Like my credit is sterling because there isn't any. Like 850. Last time I checked, I honest to God, I had an 850 850 credit score. My girlfriend was like, "What?" But it's because they don't want me using my social security number and going back after all the accounts that I've created and telling them that, oh, the prodigal son has returned, and I want the security interest in all of those accounts. Any funds, any value in those accounts, I'm claiming it because the account wouldn't exist if it wasn't for me. And you fucking liars, you told me that it was closed, and now I'm saying that you didn't have the authority to claim it, close the account, and I am a proper claimant, and there's a way to go about that. But basically, what you're doing is saying, "Give me back my money, fools. It's my account." And you guys were trading on that account, and it was securities fraud. I think Monsa looked up his Verizon phone bill. I had an AT&T account longer than that boy been alive. He was like 27 years old. I had an AT&T account longer than he. Like, seriously. So his little account at 27 years old was worth like $18 million when he looked it up. And he will tell you how to look it up if you watch some Monza videos. But basically, you go to your brokerage account. Don't tell them that it's a fucking Verizon account. Just saying that it's a foreign account and that here's the account number, and they can look up the value of that account. It's going to be a lot. Anyway, my AT&T account, that's worth so much. Okay, it's not even listed in my credit report anymore. Same thing on Bank of Hawaii. I had a Bank of Hawaii gold card that had a $10,000 limit on it. I paid that thing off and paid. Oh my god. Anyway, MBNA, same thing. Oh, I got all kind of credit card history, but it's not on anywhere in my account because they're writing on that stuff and they don't want me to come back and claim it. And a lot of it, I'm not gonna bother. I mean, there's an umbrella account and everything that's linked to this 57. This my social security number, which I have memorized and I can spit out easily. You need to compensate me because the law says that you're supposed to be holding this in escrow in case the prodigal son returns. And lo and behold, the prodigal son has returned. And I'm making claims. And then the first thing they're going to do is send you a motion to dismiss, and you got to know how to respond to the motion. So you should probably write your motion to dismiss or a response to the dismiss because you're going to say, I almost guarantee you, the thing that they're going to say, something to the effect of you have failed to state a claim upon which remedy or relief can be granted. And you're going to be like, no, actually I did, and I sent it to you 3 times. And then the other thing that they often do is they have like 30 days to respond. On day 29 at 5 minutes to midnight, they will put a court paper in asking for more time. And you're going to object. And actually, you're not only just going to object, you're going to take exception. If you're a living man, you're not just right. You're not just talking to the. But no, that you should take exception to that and object. I'll say, look, you've had plenty of time, motherfuckers. Give you 30 days, and I sent you another one. And I clearly stated, but if you don't understand my claim, let me restate it here for you. So that all concerned can see that, yes, I have an actual claim. I have a right to credit, and you are denying me that right. Or I have a right to that credit. You gave me that credit and then told me that the consideration for you going to the bank and getting my credit for me was the credit. And you got Federal Reserve notes for that application and you didn't give them to me. You kept them. Naughty, naughty, that's fraud. Okay, and then I used this card and I went out and did all kind of, got value and services, bought gas and food and dinner and entertainment and stuff like that. Got value for it. And now you sent me the bill And I'm saying, yes, I accept it. I did do all these things and had a good time. And I used the credit because my uncle owed me money. So I went out and had a good time. And now my uncle got to pay you. And I'm ordering you to go to my uncle and get paid. This is paid to the order of. And if you take it to my uncle, what are you saying? You're saying my uncle won't pay you? You're saying this thing no good? You're saying my credit no good? You're saying that that there's no such thing as this account? Oh, prove that, bitches. You're saying that I don't have access? Is that what you're trying to say? It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And then you can't get all flustered. You got to stay calm, cool, and collected, cool like a cucumber. And you just ask questions. You do the asking because the king asked the questions. And you just ask. There's no controversy here. Why is there even a controversy? Why are you even hearing this case, Your Honor? I have an access. I have right to this credit. Is there anyone that disputes that right, and upon what grounds? Saying that I don't have the right to. Oh, because I didn't send you a Form 56, and I didn't send you any instructions, and I didn't tell you what my signature looks like, and I didn't tell you that I had the superior or the majority security interest, and I didn't tell you that I was going to exercise my rights, and I didn't do anything ahead of time. So now we have a controversy, and we're in court. Yeah, that's right. But let me just let you know that even though I didn't do all that stuff, I still have a right to the security interest. I have a superior claim on that security interest. I am the majority holder, and I am not a minor, and I'm not confused about who's who. I am the living man, a natural person, a flesh and blood individual, and this individual over here is a living individual. John Ramon is a living individual whose consent is considered to be a record. I have that document. John Ramon is a name I made up. So living individual might not mean what you think it means. So anyway, that living individual has given me the authority, the benefit to act on his behalf. And by the way, that living individual, Ben H. Rogers in this case, has a security interest in the trust fund account identified by that number. And my uncle owes him the money, not only the fact that I have money in there, but that my uncle owes me that money. And I'm going to have you go to him and get paid. We're going to discharge this debt because there isn't any fucking money. And I know there isn't any fucking money because in 1933, I read the bills, I read the acts. So since there isn't any fucking money, and you're going to try and say, I know what they're going to try and say. They're going to try and say that this isn't money. That's a bill. No. What you're trying to say is that a promissory note is money. No, it's a promise. So are you so fucking incompetent that you can't figure out that you'd rather have an order to pay than a promise to pay? Does that represent your clients in the best way possible? Because I'm representing my client, my person that I have agency for, in the best way possible, and I'm protecting his rights, and he has a right to that credit. There's no controversy. And there wouldn't be controversy if you cut him off at the pass and you did all the shit that you were supposed to do, and you read all the documents, and you read the fucking acts, and you knew what you were supposed to do ahead of time, and you made it so that there was no controversy. But there's a controversy if you show up blind, slave, fucking heathen, don't give them any notice, and just expect them to know. Really? You think the person at the other end of the phone has any fucking idea what I just said in this last however long I've been talking to you? Or would they be sitting there if they understood their security interests? If they understood that they were a shareholder in the wealthiest nation in the whole fucking world? You hit the goddamn jackpot. And so you got wiped, so you forgot that incarnating here was the place to incarnate. On the whole fucking thing, that place is the place to incarnate. North American continent, in between from here to here. You incarnate elsewhere, you're probably subject of a king or a queen. Which can be a good thing if it's a beneficial king or queen, but most of them aren't. But all I'm doing here is giving you the good news on this Sunday at 1:22:22. Wait, we're going to have a magic number here. There it is. 12:22:22. You got the good news. What you do with the good news is up to you. It's good news, but you cannot snooze, because if you snooze, you lose on the good news. Bro, you guys typing over here? Yeah, there you go. Greetings and peace. Yeah. Get a gold grill. No, I'm getting a silver grill. I get one, not the whole grill, just one. Just one of them is going to be silver, and I think bright silver. Anyway, and then the other ones are going to be like fucking blinding white. What do they call it? Hollywood white. Just cause. Anyway, and I'm not doing it in the United States because the United States they'll have mRNA in the fucking lidocaine and novocaine or in the painkillers and so. And if you look at this side. I have been doing a whole bunch of detoxing, and the white is starting to go away. But this white right here is because they shot me up with poison, not because I got old. Because look, all this wait a white, wait a white, 62, wait a white. So anyway, I don't want to get shot up with poison, so I got to go out of the country to go get stuff done because, and I'm going to go to people that they claim to have invented dentistry. So I'm going to Southeast Asia probably. And for the money that I would spend in the United States and not get poisoned, I can go to Southeast Asia, have a vacation, spend, I don't know, 3-4 months on the beach and hanging out, fucking vitalizing my jaw with new prosthesis in there. And because I'm not getting the kind of dentures that you take in and out. My grandma had that, and I was not having it. I'm just going to have yucky, fucking false stuff. But see, it's 2026. We've gotten pretty good at it because guess what? During war, guys get their teeth knocked out all the fucking time. That's a very common injury. And then men punch each other in the face and they knock their teeth out, and that's very. And playing football and playing soccer and any sports and getting hit by a baseball and all kind of stuff. So anyway, we've gotten really good at doing the prosthesis, making it look like it's natural. We may not have gotten as good making sure that those prostheses don't poison you, but they figured out that yeah, titanium doesn't leach like, and silver actually is good for you. So anyway, that's in my future, and there's going to be a little while there where I ain't talking because my mouth is going to be new. They're going to give me a new mouth. All right. And you guys could type questions, but the idea is Monza. Go watch Monza. It's all free. Everything's free. They hide nothing from us fucking slaves. Nothing. We just don't go read, right? How you hide knowledge? Put that knowledge in a book. Put the book in a library. And now you can bust open the library without ever leaving the house because you have this device right here. So everything I told you, you just slow down the thing, stop, write it down. And again, do not put HJR 192 in your stuff. Oh, and I didn't write it down. What was it? It was 18 USC 8, wasn't it? Or was it 8 USC 18? Bro, I can never remember. Got too many numbers. It's 18 USC 8. Let's put that right here. And I'm using a big green pen. And in big letters, 18 USC. That's me scribbling. USC 8. Obligation. There you go. Okay. Are you telling me that 18 USC 8 does not apply, Your Honor? Are you telling me that the only way to obtain FRNs is with labor? And that I cannot obtain FRNs using my trust account and this Social Security number? Oh, because I don't have the capacity to contract. Oh, yes, I do. I informed everybody of the fact ahead of time. Because I'm a gentleman and I gave notice, not a fucking heathen slave that's covered in filth. Okay. Where's the timer on this thing? It usually tells me how long I've been rambling, but I can't tell. No, for real. It's been a while. Oh, there it is. Wow, it's small over here. Oh, wow. 2 hours, 16 minutes, 2 hours, 18 minutes, and 2 hours and 19 minutes. All right. So you know what I'm going to do? Do 222. That's what I'm going to do. That's a whole another 4 minutes. Should I sing? Yeah, play the kazoo. All right. Just more stuff here. Oh, wait. So certainly I didn't cover everything. Oh, see, what's the first thing I read? Instructions to payer, right? As owner of the account. Did you ever have it in your life written instructions? Let them know, right? You got to claim titles, rights, and interest in all equity owed to the principal. That's what you're claiming. Now you got to know how. You got to know what words to use because you're going to claim titles, rights, and interest and all equity owed to the principal agent for the principal. And you need to know that I am the payee creditor, not the debtor, right? And I have superior claim to the security interest of the all caps name that I represent. And I did all my paperwork ahead of time. I didn't just surprise them with an application because they're used to stealing your money. So then you can't just say, "Oh, you can't steal my money this time." They're like, "Why not? We've been stealing your money all this time. Why not? Why us? Why now? You're fucking. How old are you? You were supposed to do this when you're 25. Okay, you can't do that. What you got to do is you let them know in advance. Hi, I woke up. I've been saved. I've been born again, or whatever you want to say. Hi, allow me to introduce myself. Okay. Anyway, debtor with superior claim to the security interest of the all caps name, the principal, effectively connected to the social security number, blah, 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 blah. I am the living man. I am not the juristic entity. I am the representative of the juristic entity, and I want you to be sure that you know the difference. I've already noticed them in court. I can say that. You probably can't say that. Now, you can make a document where you notice them like that, and you can go over here to Pima County, and they'll fucking record a ham sandwich for you. And now you've noticed the world. A gentleman must give notice, and formality is everything because now you're going to perform. Because see, what you're going to do is pay by performance. See, because bills of exchange are not money; they perform the function of money. Ooh, if you can elucidate that fact, and that you are going to have that bill of exchange, you're not making a payment; you're paying by performance. But you can't make a payment because there isn't any fucking money, Your Honor, and you goddamn know it. So we can play around with semantics, but the bottom line is I have credit. I'm exercising my right to that credit and discharging, or what's the other word? Discharge. You know it? But what you're going to effectively do is set off that debt. And how are you going to set off the debt? You're not going to offset it. You're going to set off the debt using the credit that you have in this account because Uncle Sam stole from us. Well, he didn't steal from us. He gave us everything. He said, I'll pay your rent. I'll pay your food. I'll pay your gas. I'll pay your electricity. I'll pay your water. I'll pay everything for you. Just sign your name. Let them know you have this account. Oh, you didn't do that. Oh, well, work then. I got to pay my bills. I got to go to work to pay my bills. I pay my bills. I'm a badass bitch. Well, I'm a bad bitch. I pay all my bills. I ain't need no man. I pay my bills. I don't need no Uncle Sam pay my bills for me so I can do what the fuck I like all goddamn day long. I gotta go to work. Cause I'm a bad bitch. I'm a bad bitch that ain't got no fucking idea what the fuck's going on. But like everybody else, I pretend like I know what the fuck's going on. So I go to work instead of fucking around doing my nails. Working out at the gym, making this bad bitch body look like a bad bitch. So I can get me a man, so I can have lots of great orgasms on a fucking beach anywhere on the fucking planet because we got credit. No, no, no. I'm going to work. I don't listen to some dumbass Karen tell me how to do my job. That's much better than learning this stuff, right? Motherfuckers. And I'm the crazy one. And one more time, you ain't getting no templates out of me, but you will get every fucking thing you need if you're willing to spend the time and read. Oh, I'm a poet. I don't know it. Look at me. I'm conversing in verse. All right. Anyway, I'm aware of 18 USC and 15 USC 17. I most certainly am the interested party, and I have controlling interests, subject to counterclaim. Here is your opportunity to counterclaim. Do you have superior interest in this account, Mr. CFO? And if you do, great. If they answer, they're not going to answer. But if they answer, then you say, look, I want to put an innovation as owner of the account. We're going to make a slight change here that I have the superior interest, that you can act on my behalf. Absolutely. There's power of attorney in every fucking thing. But you don't have superior claim, and it's my credit, not your credit. You are the borrower. You don't have any credit. I do. And the only reason why you're accessing credit is because the originator, the creator, the little godling here that's completely fucking stupid and confused up until a little while ago. Right? Because it's taken me years to put all this together. And who did it? A tatted up nigga, right? Got tats on his face. Explain it plain as day. He charged $2,000 though. But he got a course like for $500. I think I might take that course right after I figure out how to do this. Anyway, but just to pay him back. And see, once you know how to do this, $1,300 for my stuff, no problem. But if you want to learn how to do all this stuff and all this notes that I've been taking, and oh, did I show you this? This was fun. This has got nothing to do with it. You know me, I like to make my maps, so I'm gonna have to make a little book for my grandchildren. Where did I put that one? Is it under here? Is it over there? I was making this really cool thing. No. The one thing I have to do, my girlfriend actually even mentioned this, and I agree at this point. We need a filing cabinet so I can just open the file drawer and know what's what and where's where. I used to have a filing cabinet, but not anymore. Oh, there it is. Yeah, because it's folded up and underneath this. You need these. Got to get these. Get some of those. And you got to get some of this. Oh, there it is. All right, so. Well, you don't have to get some of this, but you got. Oh, sorry. How about that? Like this. There you go. All right, so here is going to be, so you got to, and then you're going to open, this is going to be all covered with stuff. And then you open it up, and it's going to have all this stuff in there. Right? Right. Oh, see it? Oh, there it is. Okay. Anyway, but the idea is you gotta perfect your claims. You have to stand on your unalienable God-given rights, which we all have, not just white people. Brandon, you fuckhead. The living man, the natural person. And then you got to understand how to season documents. And then you got to understand discharge, UCC 603, UCC 6, section 3, 604, and 605. There you go. It's a UCC 3-604 and 605. Talks about discharge and what you're doing when you're set off. And then, the principal is the beneficiary. You are the beneficiary of this account. You're also the originator. You are the consumer, and the consumer has rights. The principal also has rights. The owner also has rights. But you're also the beneficiary, not the trustee. Let's see here. And the principal account, you have the security interest in the principal account, and you are beneficiary of that security interest. The bank has no interest other than what you give them, and they borrow on behalf of the principal. The fiduciary manages accounts for the principal. The fiduciary is responsible to the consumer. He works for the principal. He is responsible to the consumer. Who is the consumer? Oh, yeah, that's you. Let's see here, and we're not gonna see, and none of this matters when it comes to perfecting are you a citizen? I don't care. Do you have the capacity to contract? Are you a state citizen? I don't care. Do you have the capacity to contract? Can you sue one of these motherfuckers in their happy little squad car for violating your rights? Because they're going to tell you until such time, if you have capacity to do this, you have capacity to do that. Ooh, now they don't want to fuck with you anymore because they don't want you to fuck with their security interest when it comes to you having your rights violated. And you certainly don't want to harm the man, so you're going to go after his bond. Oh, but you don't have the right to go after your bond unless you've done some paperwork. So they are pretty much immune. But if you've done your paperwork, their immunity begins to evaporate. They know this, and they don't cause any controversy with you. They just don't interact with you. What's the problem? Or as soon as they are interacting with you, if you did something stupid and they have a reason to stop you or say hi, once they figure out who you are, then we're like, okay, no, I can go. Be on your way. They've done this to my sons numerous times now. Be on your way, right? And you should go get a license. No, we're not getting a license. But anyway, I don't know what's going on here, but have a nice night. So now I want to make videos. My son, I believe, is now in Cali. Um, but we need to make some videos with him and my other boy about some of their experiences traveling using the 5-star information, and now some of the information and some of the experiences he's had that he's not going to share with you for free because he's motored his little butt into various embassies and asked a whole bunch of questions that they didn't want to answer. Little 19-year-old boy, excuse me, I got some questions. Apparently, they threatened to kick him out of the embassy in he started off on the wrong foot anyway, but they threatened to kick him out of the embassy in Bogota, Colombia. And then they did the same thing to me in well, they didn't try to kick me out, but they did the same thing to me in Merida, wherein I am a U.S. citizen. Yeah, oops, I thought I was. I had a passport that said I was, so I wanted to go on U.S. soil, which is where that. Yeah, okay. Anyway, it's all imagination, and they were saying to me, "Hey, you can't." A guy with a fucking machine gun, by the way. These the what do you call it? The Mexicans don't dick around. I was like, and he saw me looking at it too, and he goes, and there was like a 10,000 words where like, yep, that's right, motherfucker, this machine gun. Anyway, and I was like, you can't keep me out of there. I'm a U.S. citizen. Oh, sorry, senor. Oh, hold on. Right? And then he comes right back and he goes, step right in, because there was a long line of Mexicans trying to get visas and stuff. And that was in Merida, in Mexico. Because then from Merida, they hop on a plane and they go to Miami or Texas. Anyway, I learned a lot on that. But see, back then, completely ignorant, I could have asked all kind of questions when I don't hardly ever go into embassies. But it was awesome. I've told this story before that just tells you it's not how much, but who you know. And then you might want to be one of the people that is in the know. And then they treat you a different way when you go to the embassy. Because we were first there because I wanted to get an embassy, or excuse me, I wanted to get a visa for my girlfriend to come to the United States. She's Mexican. And they were like, oh, yeah, you need this, you need that, you need proof of work, but how we know you're going to come back? And it was funny because my girlfriend at that point actually lost her temper a little bit because she's a proud Mexican. So like, what? Like, I want to stay in the United States? I'm not a peasant like the ones outside, because she's a woman of some means. Anyway, that actually annoyed the man a little bit because he was an American. And I could tell he was maybe had a little patriotism in him. He wouldn't be working at the fucking embassy. And he certainly doesn't know a fucking thing that I just told you right now, or he wouldn't be working there, would he? Government job. Anyway, so we left. And then we went back to our hotel, which was fun. And she was pissed. Oh my God, she was pissed. Fuming is what she was. Sat there and I see her looking at her phone, right? Looking at her phone. And we didn't have this back in the day. There were no cell phones back in that time. We were using the hotel phone and she was looking at the phone. And I'm like, what? I'm going to call my dad. And I mean, for her to swallow her pride and call her dad, you understand what a big fucking deal that was. Anyway, she got on the phone and she called her dad. And all she said was, Daddy, they were mean to me. That's a translation in Spanish. That's what she said that in Spanish to her father. And I didn't hear what he said, but I could hear. Okay, Daddy. Okay. Long story short, what he said is, go back to the embassy tomorrow and it'll be fine. They will hand you a No, actually, no, he didn't. He said, "I will call you tomorrow, and this will be fixed, right? You'll go down there, and they'll hand you the visa." So next morning, we went out, had a nice dinner, $4.50 for fucking 4-course meal for the two of us, because it was Mexico. And anyway, so next day the phone rings early in the morning too. Early in the morning, wakes us up, and call for David Lawson, hotel operator. Your father's calling. Okay. Of course, she takes the call, and all he said, the conversation lasted 10 seconds. Okay, you can go now. And he hung up. We went back to the embassy. It was embarrassing when you get right down to it. Those people were so fucking sickly sweet to us. It was embarrassing. It was fucking embarrassing. They were fucking fawning over us. And they issued her a 10-year visa. And we were in and out of there in 15 minutes. They couldn't get us out of there fast enough. Okay, the backstory is, turns out her daddy used to be a Secret Service agent for one of the Mexican presidents. And he knew some people at that time, it was Clinton's cabinet, or Secretary of State, or I don't know who he called. Anyway, he called somebody who was like the number 2 man. And that number 2 man called the guys at the embassy and said, issue the fucking visa, or you get to go work in, you like working in America? Or would you rather work someplace cold, like, I don't know, Siberia? We got an embassy up there that you could work at. Is basically what happened. And we found this out because moons later, I talked to her father, and her father talked to the guy who made the phone call and basically paraphrased what he told the guy. Anyway, long story short, it's not how much, but who you know. But now you can be one of the guys that who you know, because you have the capacity to contract, and you have a 5-star passport, or you have the equivalent of a 5-star passport, which is private ID, where you have shown up in front of a notary. And the notary can say, yes, this man appeared. And then you got to get that notarized, that notary was around. And then you got to get that authenticated. Okay, now you got private ID. What? You want to write a 9 on it? Write it your fucking self. You want to put some stuff on your private ID that says that this is, that you're a 1401, not a 1408, and that you're blah, 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 blah. You can put it all on there. You want to put government printing office, that you're an Illinoisan or a Texan or a Floridian or whatever the fuck you are. You want to put on that document? You can. You want to define the term American citizen? You can define the term American citizen on that document. Have it notarized. Get it notarized again, so they know that the notary is good, and then go get the thing authenticated, and they will take that at any fucking airport anywhere, because they cannot keep the living man from traveling, because you have an unalienable God-given right to move about this earth without encumbrance from policy enforcers, whether they say that they're working for a state of or department of. And then you got to go stand your ground. And I got one little boy, he don't know how to stand his ground. He don't know how to speak. You got to be able to speak. You got to be able to elucidate, and you got to be firm and polite. But you don't take shit off of these public servants anymore. But you're going to take some shit off of them for a little while longer, until such time as you read all the shit that I just... And see, some of you have read some of it. And then if you want to take the next step, as Rice did, you can surrender the nom de guerre, but no, just represent it and control it. And then maybe you want to just quit using it. But the idea being is that you don't want to kill it, you don't want to get rid of it, you don't want to cancel the Social Security number, you jackass. What the fuck is wrong with you people? You don't leave money on the table. How are you going to claim anything? You just want to be left alone, go out in the bush? Go ahead. But you're gonna have to do it someplace that isn't United States because the United States has infinite money to fuck with you. Other nations do not have infinite money. So you go into the bush in Ecuador, or you go into the bush in Bolivia, or you go into the bush in Colombia, and there's a good chance you will never in your lifetime see a government official. As long as you stay in that area. As soon as you come into town, yeah, there's a whole other thing. But if you're out in the fucking, they don't go there. They don't. Why would they? And a lot of times, in some places, like in the Amazon, they go there. They don't come back. Nobody saw no, you, and that just happened. You know, you're out in the middle of the Amazon jungle. Sometimes you just don't come back. Maybe it was a spider. Maybe it was a guy with a blowgun. Maybe it was a guy with a shotgun. Maybe you just fucked up and an alligator bit your leg off and you bled to death. Who knows? Nobody knows. But they don't have infinite money to fuck with you, and the guys know that they might not come home, so they don't go. Whereas in the United States, they don't fucking they know they're coming home. You ain't doing shit. You talk big, but you ain't gonna do anything. And then a couple of times when they thought they might do something is when they huffed and they puffed, but they never did show up going door to door to see if you had a vaccine ID or whatever, did they? They talked about it, but they realized that, yeah, as the what is it? The Gulag Archipelago Solzhenitsyn said, if those guys knew they weren't coming home, they wouldn't have gone. And see, in the United States, there's too many people with guns. And there's too many people that they may or may not be on their team, and may not take kindly to having somebody knock on their door for what they consider an invalid reason. And then in some states, like Texas, you shoot the guy on your property, they're going to have a hard time. I don't care if he's got a badge or not. He wasn't supposed to be there. Okay, if he was supposed to be there and you shot him, well, that's a whole other issue. But I mean, if he was trespassing, and I think, in the words of Bad Wolf, there's three kinds of people. You're either one of them, which is the police, judges, public officials, fucking even school board members, but county council, whatever, city council, state representatives, federal. That's these guys. And then there's us, the slaves. And then there's these people you don't hear about, private citizens. You want to get out of the slave class. I don't think you want to be in the public servant class. You want to get in the private citizen class. The private citizen class, you notice it's above these guys, and you tell them what to do. You are the government. You keep them in line. We have laws. You don't need to go to a congressperson or a representative. If this guy's breaking the law, you go directly. Now, if they've caused a controversy that has some kind of remedy, see, that's the thing. They're going to always say, right? You don't have any kind of yes, there is a remedy, because there's always a remedy. For every debt, there's a credit. For every credit, there's a debt. For every wrong, there's a right. And there's always a remedy. They just don't have to tell you what it is. Okay, I have gone on much longer than I said I would. Now we are at 2:42. It's the time to quit. I was going to quit at 2:22. Read. Read, niggas, read, niggas, read. You don't read nothing, you ain't getting nothing. And then learn how to write. And I'll tell you, it's not a joke. I'm not saying that you need to or you should, but you could smoke weed, and you may have beneficial effects from smoking weed while you're trying to do this kind of paperwork, because it breaks the programming. And then the other thing I'll say is the nicotine has proven itself 1,000 times. Nicotine for pain relief, nicotine for nicotine for detoxing, nicotine is good for you. Find out about nicotine, get the purest patches you can find, and stick them on your body. And then I want to make a video about Shimbavu, but I'm not going to make it here today. I've been gone for too long, but that is magic. That is alchemy that you should know about. And I think I'll leave it there. Oh, yeah, I think we're done. Okay, so I'm going to have a big cup. Take it easy, Crime Stoppers. In pluribus unum. Educate self, educate others. And I'll talk to you later.